This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
Hi, this is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Thanks.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, and here with me I have Fat Joe Hater. Rich Latta. What's going on, Rich?
Much, man. Just coming to terms with how much I dislike Fat Joe. As growing up, listening to music. And
I don't know how you come to terms with it. I've known you since 2006. You've hated him ever since I've known you. We're talking about almost 20 years now at this point. You coming to terms with this shit now?
Carrying it on. Apparently. Yeah, man, like, shoot, I remember when they released that Elephant in the Sand mixtape, where they released the mixtape cover with Fat Joe with the shirt off on the beach, the G-Unit shit. Bro, like, I used to take joy in hearing 50 Cent destroy Fat Joe. Used to love it.
And the funny part is now they be together the next game sitting courtside.
It was a work.
Yep.
Shit was a work.
Yep. When I picked up on that shit quick, I was like, yeah, I'm off this 50 Cent shit with all the beef shit. Like, this is so fabricated. Fuck out of here. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Over it. And then luckily, he tried it one more time for Curtis against Graduation, and that Nazi whooped him to death.
There's only one real 50 Cent beef, and
Ja
it
Rule.
Continues to this day with Ja Rule. Everything else is a work. Even the game, I don't believe that shit.
The Ross one's still there.
He's crazy.
The Ross one's still there, but it's because they're both pro wrestlers. Neither one of them will concede that they ain't pro wrestlers.
Yeah.
Do you hear Rick Ross talk about how he rated? He's willing to squash it with Rick Ross or with Drake if Drake sends him bottles or something like that. Do you see that this week?
I bet he is.
What? Oh man,
Unreal.
Childish. You call that biracial a white boy? He's never going to forgive you ever. If he lives long enough to outlast you, he's going to piss on your grave. You have no idea how deeply you've hurt him.
Yeah.
I bet sometimes at night he stays up and cries. Instead of doing push-ups, he stays up and cries.
That man listens to Aston Martin music, watches the video, and reminisces. Shit. Sadness just emanates from that song already during Drake's part.
I bet every time he hears that, for I'm on one, he's like, turn it off. I can't hear this anymore.
Can't deal with it.
Can't do it, bro. They had some bangers together. Out the window. Like, I bet Ross still performs them shits.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Drake will never perform them shits ever again. Ever.
Drake would do I'm on one, then cut his shit off.
No. I think he would be like, I'm not even gonna give him I'm not even gonna give you those spins. I'm not gonna play it at my show, then make my crowd, then go play it, and then some of that money kicks back to Ross. I think he's that serious about it.
Yeah.
I want somebody that was last year when he was still on tour to see if they would play, if they had any of them Ross Khaled records. If Drake was playing them after the shit came out during the early spring.
I'm sure we can get his set list.
I would love to know. I would love to know if anybody wants to do that for us while we do the show. Anyway, we didn't decide to talk about rap beef here. Rich, where are we starting this week?
And I guess we should start with these criminal fucks, the NBA. They need to be locked away and investigated.
Oh, man. Okay, so I
cannot believe Cooper Flag is now going to be a Dallas Maverick after all of this time. Nico Harrison, who I maintain, I think people were slightly too hard on. He has to be laughing incredibly at this point. I cannot believe with 1.8% the Dallas Mavericks landed the number 1 pick, and if they didn't get it, the Spurs were going to get it. The Spurs were the 2nd pick, and if it would have been Wembanyama and Flag, oh my God. But he's going to go to Dallas, and now Dallas gets another white superstar to maintain the last 30 years of that in Dallas.
It's been almost 30 years for real. That's funny.
I swear to God, Flag gonna take it right over from Luka. Like they about to stop caring about Luka now. There's flag men and women over there now. I just I saw this, couldn't believe it, figured it was a scam. This stinks. And I have another few ideas. Which I do not want to get canceled as to what I think is going on here.
Yeah, you can't say that.
I can't say that on air, but I will say this.
I wish you hadn't told me.
Look, this ownership group does not deserve this. Fuck them. Like, they don't get to win like this.
So, for me, I find it all funny because people are like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. It's like, look, I don't know how good Cooper Flag is. I'm not saying that because I have my doubts. I'm saying that because I've only watched him play 1 game ever. Right? So I have no idea. But what I will say is they're not operating under 2 timelines that aren't going to be compatible. Because Kyrie Irving will not be playing for them next year.
Yeah.
He will not be playing, or he will not be a factor next year for them. And then Anthony Davis is what, 30? Turns 31 next year, right? Or 32?
He's like 30. He's going to be like 33.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So you have that. So you have these guys that are aging when Kyrie and AD, who are guys that get injured a lot, or not a lot, but often. And Cooper Flag won't be who we think he is until at least around 24. He's 19 right now. So by the time
I think he's a year younger than he's supposed to be.
Okay, so
he'll be 19 coming into this year.
Okay, so he'll be 19 coming into his
turning 19.
So and he won't be into his prime until he's 24. So that should tell you by the time he's 24 in 5 years how old will AD and Kyrie be. So this idea that, oh my God, I'm saying, oh my God, people are doing like, they're immediately contenders in next year. Like, 1, they're not, because Kyrie won't be playing next year. And then 2, Lively, the part of why they were good because they had Lively and the other guy and Anthony Davis together. They got to get those guys out the way to be able to run AD and Flag together. So it's one of those pieces got to go out. Who knows who comes in for that, right? And then by the time, like I mentioned, like it's 2 different timelines. So this idea they're going to, when you had the Nico Harrison, our championship window is the next 3 years, it was blown up the second that Kyrie blew, or it was really when they traded Luka, but it's really blown up when Kyrie tore his shit. So then now you got to start over like, no, you're basically.
Should they consider trading this?
Trading the pick for who? Giannis,
Durant. How they get down. They would love to put Kevin Durant back with Kyrie Irving and then AD.
Okay, well, you can't do that because all these guys have max salaries and it's not possible. So you can't even do that. So you're not going to trade for Kyrie because he's the one with the bad leg and he's the oldest out of them 2. No one's going to trade. No one's going to take that, and they have no draft picks. Dallas has no draft picks of their own. So. Right, now they only have like 2 draft picks over the next like 6 years or something like that.
they've got the Lakers pick, and then they've got the presumed number 1 pick here.
Right. So what I'm saying is like like, oh yeah, like there's no Thunder situation here right now. There's no compete now and also compete later. Like, no. Like, there is
I guess you call Jan. I think you call Milwaukee and make them tell you no. If you're that committed to the old guys,
can you trade AD after getting him in midseason? Can you trade someone like that like 2 years in a row? Ain't there rules against that?
He might have some type of weird rule he falls under.
I'm not saying him specifically. I'm talking about like people that have
been traded.
You can't trade somebody 2 times in 1 year, like within like a certain amount of time or something like that.
We say that, then like Quentin Richardson was traded 4 times in 1 week, so I don't know
if it's not a max level contract though.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say I didn't know if it has to do with that.
I think so. Yeah. So,
but like, I feel like if you're the Mavs, you gotta pick a side. You either going with the flag, capturing the flag for the next, whatever, and then
Nico said he's only concerned about the next 3-4 years. Getting Cooper Flag means that, like, no, that whole idea you're gonna compete now, it's out the window because you got that guy.
You got to make the Bucks tell you no. You got to trade. You got to pretty much trade all your depth. You got to trade all your depth and Cooper Flag I'm not concerned about
Milwaukee. That. I don't think that's realistic because like the number 2 pick is San Antonio. That's probably where Giannis is going now. Like you can get
would you try to trade down?
Sorry.
What about like trying to trade down? Like as far as like in the draft, I don't know exactly how far they trade. You call the Spurs and say, hey, what do you want for the number 1 pick? You do that.
Wait. What team is doing that with the Spurs?
I say if you're the Mavs, you can.
Would
call
you trade
Spurs,
out of one?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what this ain't the NFL, so I don't think the talent, the rarefied talent's too scarce for you to be doing that.
Yeah.
Like the last time that happened was like, oh yeah, we'll trade down out of that. I can remember notably was like, yeah, we'll trade down and you can have Luka Doncic, and then they made the finals last year, and then trade who knows if he'll ever play a significant basketball game ever again in his life. So
I don't know.
I think the San Antonio thing is real because they have Castle. They actually have a young piece worth. You'd be like, okay, I can buy that. And then also like with Dame being injured, like, oh, you put him here, you can get off Dame's money whenever it gets off because I think it's soon. And then you'd be like, all right, we get money comes off, we have a controllable contract, a valuable player, we can just start over and we can stink because Dame ain't gonna be playing no way anyway, so we'll just stink next year. I think they have the draft picks. I'm not sure. Like so, it's a sneaky tank job.
As far as the playoffs, the Pacers eliminated the Cavs tonight. The Wolves seem to be in full control. The Knicks are in cruise control against the Celtics, who Jason Tatum tore his Achilles, it looks like, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then right now is Game 5 with the Thunder and the Nuggets.
Yep, Denver has a 1-point lead right now, 1 minute into the third quarter.
So, and that's Game 5, so they're in OKC. So this would be quite a win if they were able to hold on. I don't know, man. I think Pacers and Knicks is probably going to be a very fun series again, like it was last year, and even bigger stakes because the winner's going to the finals. The Pacers are playing in a way because, like, they beat them last year, and I think they can do it again.
They beat the hell out of them. That Game 7 wasn't even competitive. That was
crazy.
Yes, that was. I mean, obviously, I didn't expect that to happen, but like, it ended up happening though, right? I thought it was going to be like, I thought Pacers were going to win. I didn't think they were going to make it to where like, oh, it's Game 7, they're going to beat you at MSG like it wasn't nothing, as if this wasn't a 7-game series. They beat them like it was a 5-game series.
I think I'm still in favor of the narrative finals, the Wolves Knicks. I think that's the easiest one there, but I think I'm rooting for the Nuggets to for one reason, win it for Russ. That's where I'm at with it.
I mean, at this point right now, like
I mean, they're the only team left that has been there before, pretty much.
No, what I'm saying, no, I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say like at this point, it's like I feel like even though you had 3 teams that won 60 games this year, 2 were in each conference. Right now, I will pick the Thunder, the Nuggets, or the Timberwolves over the Pacers or the Knicks. I do not believe in this Knicks thing. I think the Celtics
is fake.
I think it's not even that. It's the Celtics, bro. Okay. This one, I don't want to really do this because like I feel bad for Tatum, and I'm about to go into this thing about like what kind of rarefied air he has as far as accolades at his age and how his what that can mean.
People are wrong.
Derailed, but
people are wrong about him. Flat out.
What?
Just the hate that he gets and like not like realizing who this guy is and
you
like,
want to know
what
why?
he's done, who he's sent home in the playoffs.
We'll get to that in a second. Let's put a pin in that. We'll get to it because I wanted to talk about that. But what I was going to say is like the Celtics. This is Celtics, and we'll get to Tatum. The Celtics. You think about the times they've lost or the times they haven't. Right. I don't think the Celtics have ever been bounced out the playoffs in the Tatum era, aside from maybe 2018, maybe. I don't think they've ever lost a series where they were, like, I think every time they've lost, they've been favored to going into that series. Like, no one expected Kyrie to short circuit and them lose in 19 when they had that team and also Gordon Hayward on that team, right?
Yeah, but that shit was fucked up because they tried that 2-time line shit.
That's true. The only person that ever pulled that out was the Warriors. Right? So you got that. 20, they lost to that Heat team. They're always better than. They have no business ever losing to the Heat in the post LeBron. Never. And they've lost to them twice, right? 21,
I can throw that out like that was the bubble. Like weird shit happened in the bubble.
Rich, I'm only at 2020. We're about to get to 2024, or about to get 2025. All right, 2021. They lost to who? Was it they lose to did they lose to the Bucks?
They lost to the Bucks.
Lost to the Bucks
in the Eastern Conference semi-final. No.
Because the
2021, I think they had somebody get injured. I think. And they lost in the first round to like the Heat.
Probably the Heat again, right? Okay, so 2022.
For 2021, they beat the Nets, and then the Bucks beat the Nets.
No, you got the years.
The
backwards.
Celtics, the Nets beat the Celtics because all them Celtics were hurt.
No. The Nets beat the Celtics because that was the only series where Harden, Kyrie, and Durant were healthy. So they beat the shit out of them in that first round. And we were like, oh my god! And then Kyrie got hurt. Harden had the bad leg. They take Durant goes nuts. They get the game 7. The shit went to overtime. Durant's foot was one shoe size too big, and they lose. Right. So that's what happened. So that's 1 year. So that's 1 year where they actually were. I believe if I were to go back to before the series started, the Nets were favored over the Celtics. All right, so that's one. So 2022, they beat the Nets. They get to the finals. They were favored over the Warriors. They choked it out. Right. I didn't even watch any of those finals games. I was like, I do not want to see Boston beat Steph Curry. I did not want to see that.
2021, right? Jaylen Brown didn't play that series.
Okay. How close is that series? Was it 5 or 4?
It was 4. They went to 5.
Okay, there you go. All right, so then 2023, the last March.
Now that's the choke one. Now that's your choke.
Stop choking to the Miami Heat. Their best player is Jimmy Butler. Their second best player is Bam Adebayo, or Tyler Hero. No, you have no business losing these teams.
I mean, weird shit happens. Niggas start naming Caleb Martin, start catching fire like they're Reggie Miller. And Nick Young. Remember that one time Nick Young hit all them threes in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Same shit there.
Yeah. It's amazing how that never happens for the Celtics, even though they all shoot all the threes, right? Anyway, moving on. So then last year, right?
Gabe Vincent going off. Yes.
Yeah. Last year, Gabe Vincent was going off except for Gabe Vincent wasn't on the 2020 team. Never mind. So yeah, man, like then last year they had some injury luck and they won. And they were the best team all year. And no one believed him at all until they finally won. Right? So then this year they swept the Knicks. They beat the Knicks 4-0 in the season series.
They had for them.
20-point leads in games 1 and 2 in the second half. Blew both of them, lost. Win game 3 in convincing fashion. It was the same formula as the same happened in the games 1 and 2 and 3, where they get a 20-point lead, they're beating their ass up. This time they don't choke it out. Then last night, Tatum and Brunson are going all time, back to back, like just you score a bucket, I score a bucket, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Knicks end up getting the lead. I think it had like a 9-point lead with 3 minutes left. Tatum passes the ball to Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown fumbles the ball. Tatum reaches out for the ball. His Achilles strips. Knicks go down. OG Anunoby gets the ball, takes it down to score. I think it's a 9-point lead or the 11-point lead at that point in time. Tatum's season's done. Career's altered. And the Celtics, that team's going to be changed.
Oh yeah, this is it. They just sold that team.
No. Even if Grossman didn't sell that team off, that team has to be blown up. They're so close to the second apron. We didn't think that. We thought that Porzingis or Holiday was going to be gone.
Porzingis, both of them are going to be gone.
But when you know they're going to stink next year because Tatum won't be playing at all next year or plays a handful of games next year, they're not going to be able to compete. You're not paying that payroll for and luxury tax or whatever else. You're going to get rid of it for Peter tax. They got to blow that team up. So they got to start all over again. And they had a run of teams that were
I got a trade for you.
Go ahead.
Look. You're going to crack up laughing the second I say this shit. If you got to blow it up, why don't we just blow it all the way up, right? Jaylen Brown, look, they trade with these niggas all the time anyway, historically. Dallas Mavericks, would you like Jaylen Brown for the number 1 pick?
They would not do that. But here's the thing. If your choice is you can get Jaylen Brown, hold on. If your choice is, first off, I don't know how the salaries work, but it's like, all right, Jaylen Brown at $300 million or Giannis for 2 years, I'll take Giannis for 2 years. One, he's a far superior player, and it's only 2 years supposed to being stuck with 3 years left on the contract after this season. So, and I don't know how that works because you got Kyrie making big money and you got Anthony Davis making max money. So I don't know how that works. That team
would not be able to shoot. I think I would take Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown can shoot.
Sometimes. He's a streaky shooter. But the thing for me is just like, now I guess getting to
younger too.
Sorry?
Younger too.
Yeah. Not young enough to where it makes a difference between if the choosing between Giannis or him though. So I guess moving on to Tatum. Saw Tatum as a rookie and I thought, wow, this guy is going to make like 8 All-Star teams. And we're at a point now where it's like you look up and it's like, forget 8 All-Star teams. He's going to make like 8 first-team All-NBAs. And to see him at 27, 28, and he rips up his Achilles, is like, it's not going to be there. It's never going to be the same again. He might, he'll be an all-star probably, that kind of stuff. But like the idea that like this guy, was a perennial top 5 MVP candidate at this point, those days might be over. And it's sad because we never really gave him, the props he deserves. One, because like I mentioned, the struggles where he lost a lot of series to teams he should have beat, or his team should have. Not putting the blame solely on him, because a lot of that is Jaylen Brown not knowing how to dribble with his fucking left hand, but and Marcus Smart being a saboteur, and them not realizing he's a saboteur. But like it also comes down to, people talk about the aura shit now. The Shea shit, right? Like aura and all that kind of stuff. His biggest problem was that he was not a lifestyle for any of these niggas that watch ball no more. Like, you grew up watching Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, and then you grew up watching Shaq and Kobe and Jordan, and then you grew up watching like Iverson and Kobe, right? And then like all of a sudden, like then you get LeBron James and Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, and they're these kind of larger than life figures, and he's just a boring dude with no personality. So like nobody is in the trenches outside of the New England area of this country talking about like, yeah, that's the guy. That's a part of it.
I can name some xenophobes who will stump for Tatum.
Oh, you mean NBA? Oh, you mean American NBA players? Oh yeah, sure. I'm gonna rephrase that. Black American NBA players. Sorry, that are retired. Yeah, that's it, right? But that's the main problem. Like,
Kawhi don't have this problem. Like, people don't treat Kawhi like he no hoe.
You wanna know why? Because Kawhi's a 2-time Finals MVP. Kawhi had one of the greatest postseasons of all time. Jason Tatum's never had that. Jason Tatum, for all the shit he gets for him having some duds, he's also had some killer games. But the problem he has is he has yet to beat anybody that we universally all respect, right? Like Steph Curry, while playing on better teams this whole run, he was beating LeBron. You respect that, right? Like Kawhi Leonard beat the Warriors. Even if those guys got hurt, they weren't getting their asses beat to death by the time those injuries happened. So you respect that run.
Do we respect
James
Kevin
Harden
Durant?
Doing it.
Sorry? I was gonna say we don't respect Kevin Durant. When he swept him and busted his ass and had him locked up.
Do you remember that series when Kyrie was awful?
Yeah. But look, that's a Kevin Durant problem. Look,
but it's also,
I've talked
Rich,
about on several times
Rich,
when you put your career in the hands of Kyrie Irving. These are the results.
There's
simulation.
also this part where like, yeah, man, we talking about a dude right now, and there's another part, right, about the respect thing, right? As far as like his due that he's never gotten, and talking about how his career is about to be altered. We're talking about him. We're doing a postmortem on what his prime is going to be possibly because his career is going to be altered. He swept Kevin Durant or beat Kevin Durant at 5 after his Achilles tear. It's not the same player. So I'm not saying people were doing that in real time, whatever else, but like there is absolutely offensively like, yeah, Kevin Durant basically the same guy post that, but he was a different player because he was not nearly the defensive player he was in OKC or in Golden State post that Achilles tear. So like, yeah, he has beaten some people or whatever else, but there's also be like, yeah, okay. He's never been to a time where it's like, yeah, he absolutely laid the smackdown on somebody and we all respect him, or it was some great team that he beat or whatever, or the Celtics beat. It was always like, and this was the time for them this year was like, all right, you have 261 teams also in this league you could beat. Like, it just didn't happen for him. This year one of them smoke, and then insult to injury, or injury to insult. And luckily, him and Tatum or him and Brown are both young enough to where like they'll get another crack at this probably because they're still going to be all stars, so they'll still have another crack at this in their 31-year-old years, whatever else to redo this, for them to regroup around that team and that franchise to be contenders again. But they had a lot of bites at this apple, and when Tatum got drafted with Ainge and all that stuff, and all them picks they got from Brooklyn, from the trade for KG and Paul Pierce, we were like, they might just they might just keep playing, keep holding this off, keep punting, because eventually you got to get to past LeBron in the East, and then LeBron moves, and then it's like, all right, all you got to really worry about is Giannis, and then Giannis has his own issues with the Bucks, and then you keep getting bounced by these mediocre fucking Heat teams, and now it's like you had all these chances, and now health ain't granted to nobody, and now this happens. It's like it feels like they potentially you gonna look back in a decade and be like, they won one, they had an all-time great season in 2024. They look like going into 2025 they could defend, but ultimately they flamed out in the second round in 5. And I don't know now. Like there's a whole first half of Tatum's career that's in set in stone, and you can't take that away. But like now that you look back at it and be like, damn, they missed opportunities, and now it's like his career will be different. This kind of sucks. This kind of sucks for him. This is gonna hurt him historically.
I mean, these guys have won a lot of games for a lot of years, starting young. Too.
Yeah,
like
since his rookie year,
they were competing.
Hell, I'm sorry, since Brown's rookie year,
and then like. Yeah, and so it's like 8 years later. Like that was a lot of 50-win teams. That's like a lot of All-Star appearances.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be fine. Like I think he's gonna come back. Just the way the medical stuff is advancing, people are beating these now. It's not like a death sentence in the way it was. I think the Team USA stuff hurt him a lot too. And you know whether that was his issue or you know. It's going to be real hard if you got LeBron, Durant, and Steph there to just turn them away and say, we're making it for the young guys now. I think he's kind of like a guy that is kind of caught between that time of those niggas not getting out the way. So there's no way to properly like show him
by get out the way, do you mean politically or basically he still wasn't better than them when it came down to it yet?
I mean both.
Okay, like, I just want clarification on what you.
Because he was, he was like first team All NBA, and it was just like, all right, if I'm first team All NBA, why do I have to take a back seat at all to LeBron? Like,
because if a game comes down to in our life, like I'll take the guy that's going to end up being the fucking Olympic MVP, leads the team in points, rebounds, assists over the guy that can't make a fucking shot outside the paint all summer long, including the finals.
He got to play the minutes,
huh?
He got to play the minutes. So, like, they weren't taking it easy on him. They weren't playing him like a 40-year-old guy who you would give this, like, a ceremonial piece or whatever. It's, like, all the same level of player. He didn't get his chance to do that. He might have been struggling with his shot and stuff like that.
He was absolutely struggling with his shot. He didn't make a...
That's a separate issue.
Okay. I don't think it is when it's like when you know shit hits the fan and you gotta make sure you don't get stoned by Rich Latta if you don't win a fucking gold medal.
Yeah, but like at the same time, I'd be like, yo, it's a first team All NBA player out there. It's like this is not a bum. Like people treat him like he's a bum. People treat him like he's a bum, like an absolute bum. Like making fun of him for his Achilles popping and saying, oh, now he gets to really be like Kobe and all this shit.
Separate.
All this shit is together.
That's not
like that's how all this shit ends up.
I saw that too, and that's gross.
Like that's how all this shit ends up, and it's like that weird stuff right here with this guy. It's like you want a guy that busts his ass, that doesn't get in trouble,
right?
That is loyal
Family
to the
man.
franchise, they built a team around him for years and years, and they're gonna treat that guy like that. Okay, man. Like I thought we were doing something different. Like I thought we were showing guys love for staying where they at. I thought we were showing guys love for winning. I thought we were showing love for this kind of stuff. Apparently we're not. Apparently we want aura and all this other shit. I'm like,
well, it comes to like I mentioned earlier, right?
They can praise Carmelo Anthony, who Jason Tatum is clearly better than. They can do shit like that.
Rich.
They can talk about how great Vince Carter was while Jason Tatum was better than all these niggas.
I'm a UNC guy, and I hold him at the bottom of regard when it comes to that stuff. I don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Look,
for Vince
Carter.
I never thought you preached to the choir with that one.
But I never thought I would have to stick up for Tatum like this because that nigga's a Boston Celtics. I know he went to Duke, but I mean Duke got plenty of one and dones. So it's like I think people treat this guy so weird and so bad, and all he's done that we know about him is be a father. That's the fuck out of here, man.
That's what I'm talking about when it comes to this internet shit, man. Like this shit is toxic. Like it is. You're on the one. A lot of it comes to there's so many like. How do I say this? No. You understand the demographics. I said diagramics. God damn. You understand demographics of, right? Let's just do NWA, right? Ric Flair was a Lakers fan. Dusty Rhodes was a Celtics fan. What can you draw from those conclusions?
I mean,
the Celtics had a bunch of white guys on their team. And the Lakers had a bunch of black guys on their team. What can you draw from that during their rivalry in the 80s? Bird and Magic. What can you draw from that from the 79 Final Four all the way through the Dream Team, right? There is always that, right? Our Twitter and what we see, as far as what we cover, what we see on for as far as people talk about NBA Twitter, it is mostly black people. And black people historically do not fuck with the Celtics. For obvious reasons for the city of Boston. Right? And we know this. Now, go from there. No one wants to see that team fucking win. So, for example, like the only team that anybody ever gave a shit about from the Celtics that I've been in my lifetime are like the KG era Celtics. And even you will be like, hey, y'all do too much. You only won one title. And I think that's fair. I'm not going to get into that. I'm just pointing out that, like, the only time
I'll say
ever...
this group has been good twice as long, and, you know, they won the same amount of championships as them.
Yeah, also, you guys keep in mind, like, remember the part where, like, KG got there, he's 31. So, but, moving that aside, you have this whole situation where it's like, hey, like, the Celtics, nobody that's black on Twitter as an NBA fan is really rooting for the Celtics like that. Unless they're like Howard Bryant, who grew up in Boston. You know. There's Michael Bivens and Bobby Brown. Do they have Twitters? Right? Like, does the Rocks, like, aside from like the Roxbury gang, you know? So you have that at play. Ain't nobody room for them. You have that guy. He's really good. But there's always something missing. There always seems to be some stumbling block or whatever else. And he's losing all these games where he's on these superior teams or whatever else. That's not saying about some knock about him in particular, but it's like, we've seen them fail and fail and fail and fail. And we got to the point where it's like, look, we're not even going to believe in you anymore. You're just going to have to go win, and then eventually we'll give you, and then we'll be like, we'll get off your back. They won. We was like, all right, fine. You won this round, fuck nigga. That's how they treated the Celtics last year when they won the title. You won this round. So now this happens, and like I mentioned, the aura shit is a part of it. That I think fucking sucks. It's like, he's getting hated on because he's not a personality, and it's like, do you watch basketball because you enjoy watching sport, or are you looking for fucking father figures?
Well, or they want to fuck these niggas. They like, how about we just ask in nose playing terms? Like,
I mean, there's that part too. That people talk about, like the what do you call it? The you know, all the Michael Jordan comparisons with Anthony Edwards. Like, Anthony Edwards is like, he's like 20 pounds heavier than Jordan. What are you talking about? Like, I understand that, I get what you're saying, but like, you're really just talking about like, they're both dark skinned and they have really good handles for their height and weight combination. Like, relax. Like, he's not Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan be averaging like 35 in this fucking era with all this space. Anyway, so yeah, like, I just think that like, people have dubbed him as a lame, and he's a lane that has been successful, and people don't want to be like, hey, we tripping. They just want to double down. And now, as you mentioned, he has 43 points as he tears his fucking Achilles, and now some idiots, not all of them, but some idiots are, you know, fist pumping and shit. I think that shit's lame. And then doing the Kobe shit or whatever else. And I'm like, look, man, I get it. I'm also on his ass for the Jordan shit too, or for the Kobe shit too, as far as like texting this motherfucker's phone after he's been deceased. I think that's weird. And letting us know about it, that's weird. I think it is weird. But now it's like, all right, now y'all being cruel. It's one thing when y'all being funny, now y'all being cruel. And there's a line, there's a distinct line between the two. Yeah. And people are crossing that line because they think he's a nigga to rank on. And look, I don't disagree that he wasn't funny to laugh at. But like, where's your humanity in a situation like this? So
yeah. So
that's kind of where I am.
I don't know. Either way, like, I think, like, I think if people start thinking about who he's better than, or he's potentially going to end up better than, it's going to get real uncomfortable for these people that claim to love basketball and know the game.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing about it is, like, the thing he doesn't. And I talked about this with Steph before, right? Like, you see Steph and his average in these series in the playoffs, and you're like, okay, his numbers are his numbers. But you also remember that he has like one or two games where he's fucking incredible. He has one or two games that are kind of dud/stinkers, and then two average games. You look at the numbers, like, he was fine, but but it's the ebbs and flows because he shoots so many fucking threes. Bro, Tatum took like 15 threes by the time he tore his Achilles in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it. Like, the part of his game that's frustrating is like, you 6'9" with all this with this handle. When Jaylen Brown's guarding, I'm sorry, not Jaylen Brown. When Jalen Brunson's guarding you, do not settle for a fucking mid-range jumper. take his ass to the cup and lay it up. Like it's not like the floor is shrunk because there's bigs on the floor. Get past him and like there is frustrating parts of his game, but like there are plenty of people that are all-time greats that have frustrating parts of their game, and we get over that to praise them because we like them. I just think he doesn't have enough people on his the fan base thing, or his bandwagon, if you will. I think that's a part about it. Like, there's nobody that's rocking with him in that way. And so it's unfortunate for the guy because, like, he's done everything the quote-unquote right way. You should like him, in theory. But the Boston Celtics fuck him.
So, Michael Jordan has been announced as a special contributor to the returning NBA on NBC. Of course, NBA on NBC exploded the NBA's popularity in the 90s. It was spearheaded by pretty much the Bulls. It was their station pretty much, and the Lakers got to close it out with a three-peat, and then it was over to ABC. And I remember when NBA on NBC ended, I didn't know it ended or whatever. It was just like you came back the next season, it's on ABC. I'm like, well, what the fuck is this? Like I didn't know a childhood without NBA on NBC. Mm-hmm. And with Jordan and then the Lakers or whatever. Now he's coming back as a special contributor. I don't know like who decided to call him, who had the contact and was like, I think he'll say yes. Like, do you think when you pitch that in the room, do you instantly get laughed at, or do they just wait till you leave and be like, this motherfucker's crazy? Jordan would never say yes to this.
No, I think like we gotta be like, I didn't think to ask. Let's try. The worst thing to say is no. I don't think he's laughed at. I think the thing is like, I never would have thought of that because of course we figured the answer would just immediately be no, so you don't even think about asking. And also, like, I want to know what that check entails.
Oh my!
He might be getting a meal per appearance, man. For all we know.
What I want to know is like they're building this squad. It's like Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter, Jamal Crawford. Is this like a Jordan guys kind of thing that's like emerging? Like I'm thinking is like
you said
this
Vince,
is a war.
You said Vince, Jamal Crawford, and who else?
Carmelo Anthony.
Okay. Team Jordan.
So I'm
Team
like,
Jordan.
is it like
is
there's
Ray
some type of Team Jordan here?
Jill Johnson,
Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller was Team Jordan at one point.
Yeah,
and he's on there. So it's like, is Jordan trying to assemble his own like media team essentially, like to start? I mean, he already kind of like by reference had one or
those
whatever.
Already exist.
Like,
it's Stephen A. Smith and Ahmad Rashad and whoever and all people throughout.
Is
the years,
he reassembling? Like, is it? What I'm saying is he updating the software? I
don't necessarily think so. He's stupid. I mean, look, you know me. I don't really get into the thinking of like these people are intentionally hiring these people to put it so they can be propaganda machines and crank it up for these people. Like when you had Rick Bucher cranking up the shit for Kobe or Jim Gray cranking shit for Kobe, I was like, everybody has their own particular media people, right? LeBron, obviously, with like Shams or whatever else, Nick Wright, Skip Bayless, Jordan, as you mentioned. Like all these people have had their own, you know, blah, 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 blah. So I never really talking as like somebody, I don't think it's, I feel like this is one of those things where like everybody is speeding. It's like SEC recruiting. It's like, am I really concerned about somebody getting money? Because everybody's getting money. Everyone's doing it. I don't care. In theory, like everyone has their political ties to all these people that do these shows or whatever else. Oh, Kobe and Adrian Wojnarowski. Forgot about that. He's the one that broke him. So nationally as a reporter. So insider reporter. So yeah, there's also that. But yeah, I just I mean, it could be, but for me, it's like, it's kind of like, I shrug at it because it's like, okay, like, I don't think it's going to change any minds. This stuff never changes anyone's minds.
I feel like NBA on NBC just instantly got 1,000 times more interesting, and it's like,
it's going to be definitely interesting for the first time he shows up and whatever, because we don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, they're going to say, hey, Mike, you been watching the games? Yeah, I'm smoking a cigar at the house, you know, and, you know.
Because like, for what if he's just a part of the like the round ball rock intro when they start playing like the rainbow laser lights around the peacock, and then like they show Michael Jordan walks out in dark smoke he emerges from the crack smoke, and that's it. Who knows? We don't know. I mean, all I know is
they said he's a special contributor,
but we don't know what that means. Like, is he gonna show up just like the finals? Is he gonna do like a Kobe Bryant ESPN like breakdown stuff for the game? Because I gotta say, I don't really want Michael Jordan breaking down 2025 basketball or 2026 basketball because
the second he tells these niggas stop making excuses, I'm gonna fucking die laughing. Like, it sounds like an excuse to me.
But here's the thing, I don't know if he's gonna be doing that. Like, maybe remember when KG before he moved over? I mean, he's still with Turner or whatever else, but like. Remember before he moved over to do moving over from like doing occasional Inside the NBA stuff to moving over to a Showtime. Like he was on Inside the NBA and he was coming in. He would talk with guys every so often. It's not like an interview. Like he would interview Larry Fitzgerald. He would interview Randy Moss, and that sort of thing. Like maybe he's doing that. I don't know. Like
I don't know. Like
who knows?
Like,
what he's doing.
I think they'll probably get him in for like a video segment or whatever. We got Mike on the split screen or whatever. Like I don't know, man.
I would say this. I would not have him. I would not have him critiquing the game as far as like the X's and O's of the game or where the game is now. I would have him be like, hey, we want you to talk about like when you've been in adverse situations or whatever else, you've been down 3-2 or whatever else, you're younger or some shit like that. Talk about from personal perspective of like what it takes to dig deep or whatever kind of stuff. Huh?
He's gonna own the room the second they put the camera on.
Right. But you set him up to own the room, but you can set him up to own the room without talking about like, oh yeah, I think Shay's a foul merchant. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Shay's on. Is he on Jordan?
No, he's Converse. But Converse owned by Nike now.
Gotcha. So he wouldn't do that.
I mean, I don't think you're going to be doing too much of telling what Jordan. You can have a PA, a productionist, or a producer telling him what to do in his fucking earpiece. I don't think you do that. He might just pull that bitch off and then let it rip. So yeah, I'm interested to see what it is.
I love it.
But I love it. But I suggest for their sake, if they're trying to if they're trying to avoid where we are with like the fucking debate shows and Inside the NBA, what it turned into, like you can't just let him just rail on every fucking guy that ain't as good as Michael Jordan, because you know what that means? He's running on everybody that's ever fucking existed in the sport.
I can't wait. So it's like a Christmas game and shit. They were like, LeBron, you gonna interview with Mike today, and then it's gonna be a game of chicken.
No, you're not sending Michael.
Try to cancel that shit first.
You're not sending Michael Jordan on the remote. No, he's gonna be in studio, or he's taping whatever. It's gonna be a pre-tape, or it's gonna be in studio. He will not, maybe unless it's like the finals. I think the only time you ever get him in an arena is like the finals. That's it. And I mean, finals, I mean like a team can win the title that night. Like you ain't getting Michael Jordan in an arena until Game 4 of the NBA Finals at the earliest.
Oh my God, I can just smell the nastiness. People on other networks gonna be reacting to everything he says. Everything he says is gonna be a topic. Yeah. It's gonna be incredible. Quite frankly, I can't wait. Run it up. I mean, let's get it started. From that position alone, the attention going to get is worth it, right? But you got to make sure it don't turn to shit quick. That's all I'm saying. I think you'd agree with that, because if it turns into he sounds like fucking Shaq on Inside the NBA saying every fucking guard needs to go out there and score 7 points a quarter, I'm going to lose my mind. I think everyone's going to be like, really? You're like that too? So yeah, we'll see. Niggas gotta figure it out. You know, that's they need to find out if they want to win or not. You know. Yeah. Boil the game down to his basics. You know. Basics. Yeah. I don't know why Anthony Edwards shooting all them threes. Why he shooting 10 threes a game? That don't make no sense. Because he's making 43% of them, or 30, or damn near 40% of them. MJ. What that mean? That ain't 50%, but when you shoot 10 of them, and you make 4 of them, that's 12 points, as opposed to if he were to make 5 every 10 baskets. That's only 5. That's only 10 points as opposed to 12 points over 10 shots. You will not understand. No, I don't know. You're talking about 6 rings. I put a 10 fingers in 6. Hey. Seamus Nova got a point. He said, "I'd be disappointed if Jordan didn't think like that." Like, hey, I don't want Mike coming out here. Look, I don't want Mike coming out here sounding like a damn calculator. Hell no.
But it's not calculating. No. This ain't calculating. This simple fucking math. This ain't even back in envelope math. You can do the basic arithmetic in your fucking head.
I don't want Jordan coming out here talking about, like, you know, all this fuck. I want Jordan talking about heart and will and desire. No.
But it's excellence. I'm just talking about. I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't want him to do that either. Like I said, I don't want him to get into ticket players' game saying like, "Hey, you need to stop shooting threes." It's like you're wrong. You're just wrong, Mike. You're wrong. Like, if someone's out here on a cold streak, I get it.
Who's gonna tell Michael Jordan he wrong?
Huh?
Who in public gonna tell Michael Jordan he wrong?
Gilbert Arenas. We talked about that.
Right.
Because Gilbert Arenas is potentially gonna be on this team, and if they get into this debate or whatever else, and I tell you how it's gonna go. Mike gonna be
Gilbert
like,
Gilbert gonna get his back straight.
Hold on, Gilbert gonna come out
in the presence of Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan and Gilbert Arenas gonna have if they're gonna be on a set together. This is why you don't put him on the panel. You have Michael Jordan by himself. Actually, you either have him by himself or you have him with a mod. One or two. Can't be with amongst the others. No point in having amongst the others. But if he were to be on the set, he gonna get a disagreement. And then he's going to call Gilbert Arenas a loser. And then Gilbert Arenas will be like, okay, Mike. Well, seeing that you're like one of the worst GMs and owners in the history of the sport, what do you have to say? And Mike going to lead it. Look, and they're going to have to either fire Gilbert Arenas and or Michael will never appear on that show ever again. That's why you cannot have Gilbert Arenas around Michael Jordan. You can't have Michael Jordan on this set, amongst others. Because if Vince Carter or if or anybody disagrees with him, they're probably gonna be right, and he ain't gonna know how to handle that. And what they're gonna do? You gonna either the guys that are actually right gonna have to hold down, or they're gonna make Michael Jordan lead a set.
Interesting.
So you need to have him out there with Amar Rashad, let him do a 5-minute set, let everybody get in nostalgic joy, and move on, and go back to the regular schedule programming. But yeah, I just
I love it.
Cause bro, like Jamal
Let's get
Crawford,
nasty.
He knows his shit. Vince Carter knows his shit. They like when they do NBA TV stuff or they do ESPN. Cause Jamal Crawford does NBA TV stuff and he also does Inside the NBA when guys are in the dudes.
Long time Team Jordan good. Guy. He'll fall in line.
Vince, like when he does hits for ESPN or he does NBA TV, he's good. Dwayne Wade, because I'm assuming they're gonna bring him in eventually because he did the Olympics.
NBC, yep.
Yeah, he did the Olympics for NBC.
Chicago guy.
Right, Chicago guy.
Dwayne Wade ready
Jordan
to turn on LeBron.
Jordan guy.
Ready to turn on LeBron.
Yeah, right.
Owes him one.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna get look. You ain't seeing what I'm seeing here.
That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. Think how many podcasts you done seen Dwayne Wade do or whatever else in the last
all
3
this shit,
years.
All this shit talking about, it was really just me. All that shit, it's gonna get, look.
I don't think so.
It's coming.
I don't think so. Dwayne Wade don't move like that. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, these guys actually are Dwayne Wade, Vince Carter, Jamal Crawford. Hell, I think even Reggie, even though he's not actually in the studio, he's calling the games. I think these guys are actually keeping up with the league. The problem is the legends that aren't like doing this for a job or whatever else, you can tell quickly if they are still following the league or
and to be fair,
go ahead.
I said, to be fair, we don't know what side Mike is on with this stuff.
We
just kind of
we don't know.
We just kind of assume, Mike is like, he talks about how he played and all that, but he was an owner recently. So
yeah,
it's not like
a very unsuccessful one. That lets you know he was not in touch with this. He did not have his ear to the streets. He was in the streets, but he didn't have his ear to them.
I think owners are pretty removed. So, yeah, man. Draymond Green. Now,
since you just mentioned that about he's removed as an owner, or whatever else. Will you say that about former player execs?
Such as who?
Danny Ainge, Larry Bird.
Larry
James Johnson.
Bird has stuck around, and he's actually like kind of in charge of personnel decisions. I think Jordan was like putting flunkies in place.
That we're doing what he wanted. So the reason why I say that is because, like,
I
hey
don't
man,
know.
I want to mention this because the Pacers made the East Conference Finals again. Like, bro, for a small market team, they have no chance to get anybody in free agency. That's a huge difference maker. Our entire lifetime, they have made a Final Fours every decade of our lifetime.
Yeah,
or since the 90s. Sorry. So Reggie, Dale Davis, Mark Jackson, 2000 made the finals. 2010s made conference finals against the Heat, and now they're in a conference finals 2 years back to back with this Halliburton and McConnell Siakam team. Is saying, like, this is like they don't get enough credit as a successful small market because the Spurs are the Spurs, and that's the
they've never won. They've never finished it.
But as many times they've had to start over, trade Paul George out, move on from Malice in the Palace, they end up getting to the Final Four again every decade. It's actually like they're underappreciated as a franchise for that. I just wanted to mention that because I thought I was thinking about that when they were up in the series 3-1. Just like, wow. They've been they've consistently, retool and make it back again. They may be number one in the finals, but you know what they're up against.
So Draymond Green was in the locker room going off in front of the media. He basically had like a whole quote like, "I'm tired of y'all pushing this agenda to make me look like an angry black man." And
this isn't a game where you punch somebody, where you hit someone up in the face.
Was there another thought that he had with that? Because I don't recall. Like, it was like a short clip that I saw.
That was the clip. Like, someone asked him, and then he immediately was like, "I'm not answering these questions. I have been like, I'm not falling for the narrative. I'm not falling into the media narrative y'all push it. I'm an angry black man. I'm not having it. I'm a great, I come from a great family, successful, smart man, great kids, community, philanthropist,
Don't get in trouble, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Tennis dick. He would have kept skewing. If he had kept going, he would have got to talking about all types of crazy shit. But that was just, it was like, bro, what do you think it is when you first saw it, Rich?
I was like, what fucking reality is he in, bro? Like, I just saw this and I was like, why did he get set off like this? Like, does he feel that fucking guilty about acting like a fucking wild man and madman on the court and just following people in the inseam year after year and getting all these texts and everything? Like, does he feel like he can't function as a basketball player if he doesn't do these things? Because I find that fucking weird. And then all this was a fake defense for all that, for not wanting to cop to his actions on the court. That's what it sounded like to me.
I mean, he never has accountability. And like, it's like whether he's punching his own teammates or he's kicking Steven Adams in the dick on multiple occasions, or he's choking out, or he's running to choke out Rudy Gobert, who is literally while he's going to choke Rudy Gobert is trying to break up a fight. Like, or when he punched Nurkic. Right? There's so many of these you can count, right? Like, throughout the playoffs, it's like someone figured this out. Or forget the Rudy Gobert, when Rudy Gobert was one that cracked the code. Like, when Steph don't play, he's 4 times more likely to get thrown out of a game because you don't want to get exposed as a Steph Curry merchant. Even though we've seen the games, we know. But not to say he's not still a good player or player of value, but like, you plus him takes you to here. When you aren't with him, you're second pick in the draft.
He's like this buffer for Steph Curry, where Steph Curry goes from like a 95 overall to being like 110 or whatever. Like, he's a buff for Steph Curry.
Yeah, you said what's the term you used?
He's a buff.
Yes, that is that term. Yes, he's that. Yes, that what it is. He's a video game cheat code buffer for Steph Curry. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like you don't get him unless you have Steph Curry. Like it's like, oh, okay, because Steph Curry will be fine with whoever he plays with, but activating him with this special card or whatever turns this nigga to a fucking fireball.
Like the hit damage on Steph Curry goes from let's say it goes from 1 to 100. Like Steph Curry's hit points, right? Like the damage he can deal out is 95. You add the moving screens from Draymond in the part where he can be the short roll guy, and then the hit damage goes to 120. It's just he's a special card that goes on the card, and then you killing niggas in all the card games, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all the other ones, right? The Stardom card game. They had a card game for Stardom, right?
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering, Diablo, whatever. Dungeons and Dragons, all that shit.
Final Fantasy.
Look, I know Josh Smith from Keepin It Strong Style. I'll be like, that's not how Dungeons and Dragons work. So I don't care. You have a point. Like, there's a certain setting here, and then when Draymond plays with Steph Curry, and in them offensive lineman blocks get added to the screens, it turns totally different. It takes a whole nother level. But yeah, man, the thing that bothered me, and I said this to you, I was gonna say it for the podcast, but I mentioned to you, I spilled the beans on it, was when I think what Draymond said is obviously at face value is laughable. You are not you are not getting hit with the stereotype that you're an angry black man. You are a black man that is angry because the NBA actually sent you, after you punched Nurkic in the face, they sent you to anger management. What other black men they send to anger management? You think the league only mad at you? They're singling you out, right? In this league that has Lou Dort undercutting John Morant in the playoffs and knocking him out of a playoff series, and the Thompson twins and I already mentioned Dort, and also in that same series that you were in,
John Morant.
Yeah, I mentioned that, but also in that same series you were in the first round, Dylan Brooks throwing Steph to the ground and shit, and literally saying he's trying to, get his bad hand during the game. It's I ain't trying to hear that, man. I'm just not. There are quote unquote, goons / henchmen / headhunters in the NBA, past and present, right? There are guys that have I don't even want to say it, have anger issues, right? You would not have wanted to, you would not have done this to Akeem Olajuwon in the 80s. Absolutely not have. You would have had to send in a martial guard to get off your ass, right? That's martial guard. I'm sorry. You had to send in martial law to get. You had to send National Guard and martial law to get him off your ass, right? So
when they tried Charles Oakley like this,
when you look, you were in this. When you had issues with Ron Artest, when he was Metal World Peace, whatever else, it wasn't it wasn't all the yelling stuff. It was the my bad. It was that, right? Same thing. Look, I'm not saying Artest toughest dude in the world, because Ron Artest, when he fouled Ben Wallace real hard, he ain't had nothing when Wallace shoved him in the fucking face. He sat the fuck down. He crazy, right? But when he saw that big nigga with the afro, he got pushed in the face and he didn't fight back. He sat the fuck down on that scorer's table, and then he wanted to fight motherfuckers in the arena once to cup him in the face. He didn't have that kind of smoke for Ben Wallace, right? These motherfuckers that had these anger issues and they're crazy, all of a sudden all the sense in the world with a nigga that can go toe to toe with them. Yep. So, and I'm not saying anything about how tough Draymond Green is or isn't, but it's a reckon. It's also
you look around that league.
He knows he can get away with this bullshit, and the league has.
You look around the league.
The refs have enabled this.
But look at these big men in the league. There's only a couple that I would like. He ain't gonna try Jokic like that.
Nope.
He ain't gonna try Steven Adams like that. He ain't gonna try, and that list dries up very fast because there's a lot of young guys. There's a lot of skinny dudes or whatever. Yeah. Just the league has legislated those types out of the game. Like,
yeah, it's overemphasis on it's not overemphasis.
forward.
Like they're emphasizing skill at the behest of physicality and strength not strength, physicality and strength, but if you're gonna be a big guy in this league, you got to know how to move your fucking feet and also have skills like shooting space on the floor. Spacing is at a premium at every position. Like they will get your ass out this league unless you can either space or be a vertical threat to catch lobs. If you can't do either one and you don't play defense, I don't know how you survive in this league. Right? Like Draymond is one of the greatest defensive players of all time. He's one of the smartest offensive players of all time as far as being is on both sides of the floor. Right, him being able to anticipate stuff and see it before it happens and be able to figure it out. He's not some physical specimen at 6'7". He's not. We saw what he looked like at Michigan State. He's absolutely like the partner. We never would have thought he was going to be this level of player and be in the league still. Even though he was All-American at Michigan State, we never saw this in the cards for him. He was second round pick for a reason. The part where it's a part where there's an attitude and a want to and a drive to get to where he's gotten to, but he burns over. He burns over and he crosses the line too much. And like the league and the refs have enabled this shit to go on over and over and over again to where now, like you can see, like he knows that you ain't finna throw him out of game. And now he's at a point where like people think he's figured out. It was like, look, like I'll get a tech. Okay, I'll just do a flagrant now to voice my displeasurement during the game. So I have a flagrant and a tech. I can't be out thrown out the game yet. So, like, it's just a problem. So for me, it's like, you know, he says that that people are trying to get him as he's this angry black man. I'm like, no, man, you're a black man that's angry, and you don't know how to control your temper, and it's a problem. And like, it's one of the reasons why like I was quick to this. I was like, hey, man, this might. Luckily, it didn't happen, but it's like, hey, man, this could potentially be the reason why people don't like the Warriors. Like, him doing all this shit while like, everyone loves Steph, but, like, at the expense of Bill Laimbeer over here. So, yeah, man, it's been an issue. Luckily, they've been on so many historic teams that, like, it's been overlooked or whatever else. But now when they're, this team is just kind of hanging on, it's a problem to watch. We've seen Steph be like disappointed in him tons of times. Steve Kerr be disappointed in him, but see him punch out teammates.
I would kill to know how many times Steph Curry has sat that man down like a child and been like, "I'm disappointed in you." Right? Like, why do you continue to act like this? Like, because he ain't never gonna try Steph like that.
It's gonna be some what the fuck is wrong with you type stuff, right? And the thing for me is like, when he does this, I think it's honestly like it's a disservice to what is actually valid, like the unfair stereotype of black people being angry, having anger issues, because it's like, hey man, you want someone that actually was unfairly portrayed by the media as being an angry black man? Look no further than Russell Westbrook. Family man, franchise guy, only left once there was no reason to ever stay anymore after Paul George left, right? Guy who works in his own community, family guy. Look, and to this day, right? Every teammate basically has nothing but praise for him his whole entire time. But because he jeers and makes ugly faces while he dunks on people think he's an asshole. Because he takes some bad shots sometimes, or he turns the ball over and it looks like sometimes his body, like his ability, leaves his body in spurts, like it's some type of like random neurological issue. That's not a reason to think he's angry. But people have given him that for over 15 years now. That's a guy that actually has gotten an angry black man stereotype. Not you. You don't see him punching people. You don't see him kicking people in the dick. So so for me, it's like, hey, I'm trying to hear this, because there's actual people that actually suffering from or actually been victim to these stereotypes. You're not one of them. You're just not accepting accountability again.
After he's been disciplined by his team, after he's been disciplined by the league, after he's fucking cost a team an NBA Finals. Yeah. Like, where's the fucking line?
After he cost his team,
that would have been it.
Kevin fucking Durant.
That too. Yeah. Like, you broke up like a lifeline that Jordan Poole was for that Warriors team. He was a lifeline to like keep the shit going, and then that guy's in Washington just going to hell now.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know how long he has left on his deal. But decisions are gonna have to get made soon, and I can't believe that it played out to where he got to stay longer than Clay did.
Yeah. So
business
Rich,
basketball is crazy, man.
Jokic just made a post-up fadeaway 3 over Chet.
Score?
His back was to the basket. He turned over his shoulder and shot over Chet from 3 and went in. It's 103 with 90 seconds left.
Come on, Nuggets. Come on, Nuggets. So yeah, I want to talk about Evolution getting it potentially announced. It's like kind of in the dirt sheets and shit. They're talking about it being the same weekend as AEW All In. They had already had Saturday night's main event planned on the same day as All In. All In moved it to the afternoon or whatever, because they're obviously why would you want your shit to get stepped on? Then there's an announcement of them throwing the all women's show that people have been asking for, that they've been talking about
since 2019.
Yeah, and this is very nasty. There's a couple different sides of this. There's like, all right, you either gonna watch All In or you gonna do the moral thing and watch the women, or you setting the girls up, be like, hey, well, this whole weekend is like you gonna use that to justify why they should never do it again,
right? Which they already did last time.
Yeah, or
it only sold 10,000 tickets the last time. That's what they said.
They're doing this because they're about to go to Saudi Arabia again. They're like, yeah, I don't think, like, you know, I thought they were over the women thing in Saudi Arabia, but who knows? Maybe they will, you know, use it as a reason. Hey, we don't have to bring any women this time, and send it over there. I saw this and I was just like, I don't know. I was like, this company is so nasty and dirty. This is disgusting.
Yeah, man, there's no reason to not have this show every single year, and like they just now bring that out in 2025 when the last show was 2018.
Funny.
It makes no sense. I mean, it makes no sense outside the obvious of like it's more anti-competitive stuff, and obviously it goes, you know, hand in hand with what is going on in AEW that particular weekend. Like, I understand that Saturday night's main event is going to be that actual night. That's going up against or that same day as All In, but like they're packaging it as a weekend. Like they're packaging this as like, hey, it's in the same town, right? Saturday night's main event in Evolution will be the same town potentially.
I think it might be in Atlanta.
Yeah. So they're trying to sell this as, hey, you travel here, don't travel there.
Yep. And there are people that I've seen that are going All In. They were like, hey, I would have wanted to go to Evolution too, and now I can't, or whatever, because you want to do this bullshit. Okay.
I mean,
whatever.
They were already doing it with Saturday night's main event, but it's like, now it's like, okay, and you're throwing this on here. And it'd be like if you were to throw on, like, you know, some C-tier pay-per-view that had men on it too. It's the same thing. It's still anti-competitive. It's a little particularly nasty because it's, as you mentioned, it's like hey, we want this, like a moral thing. Like, you know, the celebration of Evolution the first time was like, this is really cool. And it was also, that was one of the best pay-per-views they've ever done up to that point. So yeah, it's a new level of nastiness. I don't know what's next.
They're using the women, James. They're using the women as a battle weapon,
which is also funny because it's also like AEW's women's division at this point is it's a superior division to the WWE women's division. It's been like that for about what like how many months now? 6, 7 months, 8 months.
Yeah,
longer.
I also think there's like now there's also going to be like sideways pressure, like, yo, Mercedes and Tony should main event now. When it's like, I hate to break to people. I think people are kind of being unrealistic with that, like just saying that should main event or it's the, whatever. It's like, look, they have one match that we're going to talk about after this that has kind of been thrown out there or whatever. That it hasn't like lit the world on fire as far as like tickets or anything like that. And then they have the AEW World Championship, the men's one. They're just not gonna put them over like that. It's just not happening. Like, and now if you throw it there with, like, oh yeah, this would be a great opportunity to do it, it looks like you're being reactive. It does not look like you're doing it for quote unquote the right reason or whatever.
It's not.
It's not. And I know it sucks to kind of hear it like that or whatever, right? But I don't think enough people are brave enough to say that. It's like, all right, if this is like the number one thing in the company, right?
Sure, but it's not.
It's not. It just isn't. Like they are going to like tell you John Moxley is the most important thing in that belt in the briefcase that he has or whatever.
That's a lie too. That shouldn't main event either.
Yeah, right. And that shit sucks.
Like unless
I'm not co-signing that.
Yeah. Like unless they're going to make Hangman or Will Ospreay the champion, they shouldn't main event either.
Yeah. So I just saw it and I thought it was very interesting, and it's going to be a bunch of, self congratulations and patting themselves on the back for doing it. It's like there was nothing stopping you for years and years of doing this. Out of Mega 5. James, do you want to see this match?
Of course.
In 2025?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Now, there's going to be one situation where, like, the match in the ring is going to save whatever they've done with Okada the last year, or ever since he got in AEW. Yeah. The match is going to have to save all that. Yeah.
I think when these guys get in the ring with each other, there will be a level of magic that has always been there, right?
Right. Have they built properly to get there? Absolutely not. Absolutely the fuck not. No.
I don't even know we can call if they've properly even started it. So, like, just laying on paper what they've done.
That's true.
They've kind of told us like 6 months in advance, 7 months in advance. They had Kenny come back. Everything. This also goes back to the Kenny Omega usage and how fucking weird it's been.
Yeah.
Comes back in a suit like he's a non-wrestler, hands Okada this belt. They show the fucking picture between them, and you're like, oh, okay, awesome, or whatever.
I thought you were going to go back to when they laid him out with the Elite.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, everything was supposed to happen there too. Yeah, forgot about all that.
Yeah.
And which actually I think was a good angle. And like they did a preview tag match with them a few weeks ago. Crowd was on fire for their interactions.
Right.
Between that, Kenny goes to the Dome. Okada's pretty much, he's had a handful of great matches, but I think if you've been watching Okada only in AEW, you're like,
what's the big deal?
What's the big deal?
Right.
Like,
he's just a good wrestler. Yeah.
And now,
like if you are watching AEW, I know if you never watched him before AEW, you're probably been like, what the, like Takesha's way better than him. Way better.
And it's not close. Like, and now with how I feel uneven Kenny Omega's appearances and also the vibe of around like his character have been ever since the Tokyo Dome, he feels checked out, I feel like. And now we have this huge story between Okada, or what should be this huge story between Okada and Omega, right? And what are the ideas that they're going to come up with to pay tribute to the history that they have, do something cool now and write an original chapter, and also use it as a ticket moving match, as a worthwhile to the series match, as something that is just like they have a chance to like really tap into and really bite down on. I don't have the confidence that they're able to do that right now. Like, it's like, are they going to get the interview time? Are they going to get like other people to help build it up? Are they going to use the Young Bucks somehow to build this up? Like, it feels like they should be trying to retell the entire story between them. Like, and I know this is an in-ring wrestling promotion, but they have to do more.
Yeah, don't disagree at all. And like, this was the problem. I mean, this problem all goes back to when they wanted to play that footage of CM Punk and Jungle Boy from All In 2023, and then they wanted to base that whole faction around it. And then the Young Bucks were like, well, I'm not going to speculate, but the Young Bucks all of a sudden, they lost the titles and they went the fuck away for months. And then Jungle Boy ain't been seen since. And then Okada's been out there being bitch comedy guy, having good to great matches. An occasional, basically like he shows up, he has a very good to a great match, and then like every 4 months or 3 months he has a classic. It's kind of where he's been in AEW. But he doesn't have much of a character. Or let me phrase that. His character is very two-dimensional. He has no rivals so far in this company.
It's like Kenny and Okada are just waiting to face each other and doing nothing really interesting in the meantime.
And it's been even worse for Okada because Okada, this is his native language, and he has been on TV every 2 to 3 weeks, and he calls the next person a bitch, and then he wrestles a match with them. While the Young Bucks were on TV, while Kenny Omega was on TV, and has greatly hurt his to someone that doesn't watch New Japan or didn't watch New Japan and saw him when he was one of the greatest wrestlers ever. It really, you think he's just a guy. You think he's just a really good guy amongst a group of other really good guys.
It's like, all right, it's like if we just like pulled Joe AEW fan out here, we pull him in and we're like, you think Kazuchika Okada is one of the 10 best wrestlers in AEW? I feel like with confidence, they can't be like, they could easily say no.
They'd be like, yes, but it'd be like 8. As opposed to if you go back 2 years ago, hey, is Okada like one of the 10 greatest wrestlers ever? It's look, man.
Like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. I know they've got a lot to build up. They've got Anarchy in the arena to build up. Yep. They've got stuff to get through, right? But these random interactions of them just walking out after each other's matches. Sorry, this is not New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like, and maybe that's the subtext of this entire feud. It's not New Japan Pro Wrestling, so it's like that's why I'm almost protective of the rivalry. I'm like, I don't want to see them do it and fuck it up.
I would say if that is their point, or that's the subtext of this, then I need them to go back and give me back the time they wasted with Nigel McGuinness and Danielson. Because they set that up for months and months, or hell, years. When Nigel was on commentary, they set that up the whole time to get to that point, and then they did it, and they put it on the fucking Arthur Ashe show, right? And while I did enjoy the match, it was most people would be like, this was not the same level as those matches from ROH back in the day, right? Like a lot.
Man, how could it be? Nigel McGuinness wasn't a regular wrestler in like 15 years, so it's like
right. I'm not saying that not Nigel at all, because Nigel's still a really good wrestler, but my issue is if you're going to have reverence for these things, or if you're going to destabilize, if you're going to help destabilize your fucking partner by taking their biggest star at a time, their ace. Like, don't just make him a fucking toy. Like, he's not an anchor. Like, he is not a cornerstone of AEW. Okada's not. Will Ospreay is.
He's a luxury.
Right. Will Ospreay is. Right. Swerve is. Heyman Page is. MJF is. But, like, Jay White, Okada, no, they're not. They're just guys that they were in New Japan. Everyone knows him here because they had these matches with these guys that are in AEW. Let's bring them in. What are we gonna do with them? We'll figure it out later. And obviously, it's been less stop and start stuff and shifts and moves with Okada than it has been with Jay White. But like, it's the same problem. You brought these guys in without actual real plans to make to slot them amongst the other guys that are in their peers.
It's like they're being orbited just around Kenny Omega, but Kenny Omega has been either injured or inconsistent or just like, you know, whatever his dates are available with the contract and stuff, because you know that is a huge thing. So at this point, I'm wondering, is Kenny Omega still a cornerstone of this promotion, or is he falling into the luxury thing?
I think it's like when you build this, I think he's fallen into the luxury thing post diverticulitis. Before then, he was a cornerstone guy, not no more.
Yep. And it's just like, I just don't think they have the tools in place or the ideas to make it really like what it could be, because
absolutely not.
Are these guys
okay, Rich? I give you
because like you could sit you could sit Kenny Omega in a room, just how New Japan used to do, and just be like, so what do you so tell us about Kazuchika Okada and what he's meant to your career, and then just he can do it. Like, I have no doubt, but I don't think they think is simple to that. They think there has to be some over the top angle or some like. But
what's going to happen is they do it. They see it pre-taped, and they're like, "Oh, it's 5 minutes. It is not MJF,
right?"
Right. Or is not a motherfucker dressed like is 1975, like Jamie Hayter was the other day. She looked good in it, but it's like that's a lot of earth tones. Ascot too. What a star. I don't mean that dismissal either. Like she's look, you know, what's the star thing for Vince? Like you walk by the airport, people turn heads. A woman built like that walking the airport is gonna turn some heads. But yeah, just I'm just go back further, right? Forget the Okada thing in terms of Omega, right? Okada beat Ospreay in the finals of the C2.
Right.
To continue in the story of Ospreay has never beaten Okada clean in a big high level spot in a singles match. That's a part of the Ospreay story. When Ospreay gets the match with Okada, is anyone like looking around and be like, hey, have we done enough with Okada to where like when he gets that match, is he even worth it for us to do it? And like,
I don't even know
when it happens.
I don't even think people realize that's like a story beat of Will's.
But I mean, he's gonna have to beat Swerve after like that's if eventually if this long plays is his long title chase for Ospreay to get the AEW World Title, his failures along the way are gonna have to be rectified. It can't just be he lost these people and then get these wins back. That's how pro wrestling works. Like you lose or you crack your head on the wall, you fail, you finally make it, and you face your demons that you failed against, and you beat those people, and then you go on in non-carny American pro wrestling. Sorry. But like it's a simple story of you have failed, you've redeemed yourself, you have overcame your failures, and now you got to face these failures again, and you topple your failures, you're awesome, and then, you eventually lose somebody. For the story is you got your ass kicked by a monster, or you got too arrogant or whatever else, and it's your downfall again, you start the cycle over again. Or you're not the main character anymore. Or to find a new main character. That's how this works. So, if you know you're going to get a Swerve match eventually, Ospreay gets some win back. You know that. Like, that's going to happen. Barring some type of injury where neither one of them can wrestle again in the long term future. It's going to happen sometime in the next 2 years. The Okada part, is anyone going to care? Because you haven't handled this with care at all with Okada. He's just been in his own universe with the Continental title, and then you put Omega in his own universe by beating Takeshita for the international title. And now they have they have the Okada verse and the Omega verse. They have the two KO verses. And these two KO verses, like a comic book, are gonna have these universes converge in Texas. And it's like, all right, well, what? Okay, one is gonna win, one's gonna lose. What happens after that?
It's almost like it's an exhibition match.
That's what I'm getting at, because neither of these people have roots in the company right now. Omega does long-term roots, but like as far as like, yeah, he's been back. Like, where's him and Ospreay's tag team? Ain't
on in smoke,
right? Cool moment.
Like his roots are with the Young Bucks,
right? Like, and to be fair, the Young Bucks is actually real, because you know that's actually a thing that's in the pot boiling, simmering. But outside of that, nowhere around any of the Hangman stuff, nowhere around the Ospreay stuff. Done with Don Callis family.
Like the most
no smoke with Moxie hiding the fucking title. That, you know.
Yeah, like it just makes it look stupid. Like it just does. Like the most exciting thing was when he's been, you know, him and Swerve have been saving each other and showing each other respect or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, that seems like it's new, it's fresh,
right?
It's exciting. I would like.
But that's part of the Young Bucks part. That's part of the Young Bucks.
I feel like I could name like 20 matches for Kenny that I'd almost rather see than Okada at this point, just because of what they've done or not done to emphasize this, to drive it home, to talk about how important it is. But this is also a symptom probably of Tony Khan trying to rewrite, you know, the history of this company or whatever, like, you know, like, you know, we don't want to call it back that far or whatever. It's like, nah, it was really just me who started this shit. Like, and it ties in conjunction with that AEW book that's going to come out where they're talking about the history of the promotion and why I think this is going to be an interesting read, because we're going to start just like in WWE when we're talking about people want credit for all this stuff.
But I don't know how
going to get written out the story.
But I don't know how you square that when, like, you also in the same breath, I don't know how you get away with, like, talking about like that without talking about, like, Wrestle Kingdom 12.
Right.
Like Omega and Jericho. That's absolutely a part of what started AEW.
Right.
So
like, I feel like you're...
And the main event of that is Omega or Okada's in the main event of that show.
I feel like they would be like they would have trouble telling that story of like, yo, this shit all goes back to Okada Omega. Like, because it doesn't fit within the tidy little... That's because they fucked it up. Or they mismanaged it or whatever, or not handled it with care. That's not a we have are you saying like they're not going to recognize that they fucked this up, so therefore they're going to, you know, whitewash all this shit, is what you're saying? Okay. Yes. Like they're not going to realize that this shit emanated from like Okada Omega. Like they're going to be like, you know, it's going to be like, nah, this was just a really great rivalry that happened in Japan. It's like, no, bro, it's deeper than this. Like it like they're gonna fuck it up. Like I already know it. Like,
so what was it?
And I'm resigned to it.
1,000 tickets in MSG because people thought it was gonna happen again.
Yeah. Sold out MSG. Yeah. Just, you know, whatever. You know,
whatever.
Now they're struggling to fucking sell tickets at the baseball field. You know, all right. You know, whatever. I don't mean to go on these rants where I have to like kind of read the company for filth or whatever, because, you know, I like AEW or whatever.
And they've been having great shows basically.
And they've been having great shows and everything pretty much besides the world champion I'm, you know, pretty much fine with or whatever. But, you know, I start thinking about my favorite wrestler of all time and then like the greatest rivalry that he's ever been in, and then just like, oh, that's coming in 2 months, less than 2 months as we record this. And I'm just like, where is it? Like, I'm like, where's the excitement? Where's the anticipation? Why is this not being like hammered home? It's just like, I'm confused. Are they a slave to the calendar where they can't do anything until after Anarchy in the Arena or whatever?
That's like, a part of it. And maybe, you know, Anarchy in the Arena, like, I don't know who's all going to be in it, but it's a possibility that both of them are in the cage again, or both of them are in the cage, and like that's when they first preview it. Or the second time they preview it on a big stage without actually doing a match. Because, like, they could... I mean, because honestly, given they have 2 months and I don't know where they're going to end up with it, like, I mean, hell, they could have put both of them on the same side of the bracket in the Owen and had that shit been like a semifinal or a quarterfinal match. and had them go to a draw, and neither one advanced.
Yeah, and eliminate them both.
Yeah,
and tell them do a 30-minute draw.
Was that Hogan Andre WrestleMania 6, right? I'm sorry, 4, right? Is when they did that shit.
People would have hated it, but they would have liked the match.
That match would have been way better than that. But yeah, and it'd be like, cause like, hey man, like, you know, they did do Danielson Omega and went to a draw. Never had a match again.
Yep.
We hated that, but we also were like, that match is fucking awesome. So, sometimes
I don't know, man. I was just thinking about it today, and I was just like, I feel like somebody got to say something
it's at the very least it's suboptimal, at the very least, and that's being polite about it. They have not done a good job with Okada. They just haven't. I'm not saying he's awful or whatever else, but like he's.
Because there's a definite other side to this where I think people are going way too far, and it's quite frankly unfair to Okada. I
don't know what you've seen, so you got to tell me.
Oh, just like he's a complete failure. This is no different than Shinsuke Nakamura. Like they would rather he signed with WWE. I'm like, no, he would have not done anything in WWE.
Shinsuke Nakamura had basically one super awesome match in WWE in his whole history there. He's been there since 2018. Right?
Okada's already wiped his ass with that.
The Pac match,
several times.
The Ospreay match. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dynamite was in Detroit. Now it's time for One Nation Radio to put ourselves over here because apparently One Nation Radio is big in Detroit, big in the D. Apparently, no pause. 313 is us. You know, up and down the 8 Mile. You know, everybody in the 313, put your One Nation Radio shirts on if you rock with we.
This is a professional rapper.
I saw 3 One Nation Radio shirts in the crowd. I knew one person. I knew it was Black Sabre Jr. Who showed up in Detroit. But then I saw 2 other ones in the background of the Hangman Will promo we're about to talk about. There was a gentleman. I don't know who it was, but please reach out if you listen to the show. If you purchase merch and stuff. I'd love to know who you are or whatever. Thank you for wearing the merch. Right on. Prime advertising right there on Turner Broadcast Networks. There was another gentleman that was kind of to the right of Excalibur and the announce table, you know, back on the side. Also in the O&R shirts, the classic designs. And I had so many people tagging me, just saying, seeing the merch, here's the pictures, sharing it. So I appreciate all of that. That's really cool. It makes me feel good when, people show up to wrestling shows with this stuff because there's wrestlers that are backstage that don't have 3 shirts in the crowd. So it's like we kind of over a little bit. It feels like
that's when you said that line. That's one to put ourselves over. We have to step over people. So you stepped over some wrestlers. I can't say what I want to say. We'll save it till we get off air.
Hey man, I'm just saying,
I see a number of One Nation Radio shirts. I see a number of One Nation Radio shirts, but I don't see fill in the blank shirts nowhere. And only time I see him is on PWT's site. That's it.
All I see is the graphic getting sent out on Twitter.
Yeah.
If it was that easy to sell shirts, everyone would do it. Apparently. So, but this radio, it's right there, center of the broadcast. Tony Khan had to look at that shit and be like, "What the fuck is that?" In the middle of this, in the middle of Asian Osprey's heads was the One Nation Radio logo. That was amazing.
I want to see what Mark Davis and Clive Fletcher think of One Nation Radio. What is this? How did this get over here?
People just look around. What the fuck is One Nation Radio, bro? Because it's so funny. Because it just doesn't look like a wrestling podcast, but it says One Nation Radio, and it's like, well, what is that?
Right. Right.
He did several shirts or whatever. And like, I was getting messages from the building like those were like wrestlers saw them or whatever. So like, could point them out or whatever. So it's like it's there, and this has happened on this network before. Seen Tunnel Talk shirts at events, seen the Trish and Sarah shirts. We got to get the rest of the folks, showing up and all the rest of the gear.
Did Jeremy ever tell you about the time or about the MSG show about G1 Supercard MSG?
Nah.
I was walking with him through MSG, and obviously I'm talking to Jeremy, and someone stopped us. It was like, "Are you Jeremy from Keepin It Strong Style?" He's like, yeah, and then I was like, this nigga here knows your voice. I was like, that's cool, and also, you don't know you never know who's listening, right? Like, I don't even know what we weren't having no conversation. It was crazy, but imagine we have some type of crazy personal conversation while walking by. We think we're amongst strangers, right?
Yeah.
What if we have ruined this person's like possible fandom of Jeremy, right? Of Keep It Strong Style, because like me and Jeremy talking about something crazy,
Right.
You never know. It's crazy like that. So
look, man,
I'm saying that to say this: when we get to Texas for All In, I ain't saying shit. I'm just gonna be walking
around, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Don't need to offend nobody.
Yeah, you mentioned you never know who's listening to this show. Like, people with the business, fans. If you listen to One Nation Radio, thank you. And if you show up to a show in a One Nation Radio shirt, I
would like to say that.
I just hope they got to like holler at each other or talk to each other or something.
Yeah, I would like to think that the Young Bucks listen to One Nation Radio.
I feel like that. I feel like they do.
The reason why I say that is because Tunnel Talk had the Young Bucks. They talked about how like, hey, we ain't washed up. We just were having bad matches on purpose. And I think they thought to themselves, yeah, that does sound fucking dumb. And ever since they came back, they stopped doing that dumb shit. We're heels. Our matches are supposed to be good. No, say that you are the Young Bucks. You are Nicholas and Matthew Jackson. Don't you dare come out here and try to give me some Jim Cornette bullshit. You come out here and ball. These party matches you've been having with 8 and 6 niggas. That's the match you're supposed to be having. When you were heels with Callis and them, you was having killer matches too. You were heels. Cut the shit.
I heard a little bit about how this match was put together this week with the trios match they did, and it was just like one great idea after another from Nick, from Matt, Ricochet, Swerve. Just like the thing about that makes these matches special is it's guys that are at this level, and it is the guys that invented this shit essentially, like. From the last 10 years that all know each other, that are all at the top of their game still, like, and they've been doing it together for so long. So it's like riding a bike.
Awesome. Straight up,
just incredible. So shout out to Matt and Nick. Slide the DMs. But Hangman Page and Will Ospreay. Let's start there, man. We don't have to do the whole show. We are, we're not, a little late, But shout out to the folks in Detroit again, wearing the O&R shirts. Really, really appreciate it. The big promo at the beginning, Hangman Page and Will Ospreay. Page comes out. He says he never understood why, after everything he's done, that he has even one fan who would cheer for him. But it does make a difference. So thank you. He's very sad, very melancholy here. Page basically said he shouldn't have to say it, but the last 2 years have been some kind of special hell. What's happened to his family? He wants revenge, justice. He said, he took another man, his hopes and dreams nearly killed him, but after the cage match with Swerve, he thought he'd feel some kind of joy, but ultimately felt nothing. For 1 minute, he thought if he went back to the ring, he would finish the job, that he'd get that closure, but he didn't. Fans then started chanting, tell us why. Paige said he doesn't know why, but he took that frustration, bottled it up, and unleashed it on anyone in his way. But all it did was tear people down around him. He then looked directly in the camera and said he's never going to forget or forgive Swerve for what he did to him, but he'll have to put it behind him. So from there, he was like, you know, I made the choice to enter the tournament. I beat Josh Alexander, Kyle Fletcher, and now I'm going to wrestle who everyone calls the best wrestler in the world, Will Ospreay. And then all of a sudden, elevated, immediately his. It was almost like it was set up. But Ospreay came out. It was his birthday, apparently. So, you know, I believe he turned 32 years old. So shout out to Will Ospreay. He stared at the.
He's made it farther than I ever thought he would at 32. I thought he'd be in a wheelchair by now.
So the face-off happens. You know, the crowd's going crazy. This is the first time these guys ever really come face to face, aside from some multi-man matches like 7 or 8 years ago in New Japan. Crowd was singing "Happy Birthday" to Ospreay, who didn't have to be clued in for this. He apologized for Hangman for interrupting his therapy session.
Why you bury Ospreay as a dummy like that?
Well, I was bigging him up. I was saying the crowd, they didn't even have to be tipped off. And
I thought when you said I thought you meant Ospreay didn't even have to be clued in that it was his birthday. I thought that was you. I was saying, okay, my bad. I'm gonna say, damn, that's fucked up.
Right. Like, well, Ospreay didn't even know it was his own birthday.
Right.
No, bro.
That's what I thought you said. I'm like, oh shit. This man, why this man dropping this kind of hot shit on Ospreay? That's nuts. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
just sprayed it like some Glade, But he said it was the first time they've spoken to each other, so it was a pleasure to meet the Hangman. But in the same breath, he wants to apologize. He knows Paige has been through a lot. He knows how much all this means to Paige. Everyone does. He said one of Ospreay's favorite moments at AEW is when Paige took the Misfits in the Dark Order and showed them leadership. From there, he rode that support and becoming the champion. Everything was perfect. However, after Paige lost it, everything changed, which Ospreay understands. He said last week after Paige beat Fletcher, Ospreay and the fans noticed something that Paige hasn't done in a few years. He smiled. While he's aware of many that want Paige to become the main character again, Ospreay has a problem with that. He's not going to lose, and from there, Will takes the fuck off. Like, he brings up Hangman beating Jeff Jarrett's ass and Christopher Daniels and his friend Swerve down. He said he's been the one that's doing the media stuff. He's been doing the meet and greets. He's the one that's taking the photos with kids and families. And the best part about it, when the bell rings, I still show him that this is where the best wrestle. And bro, he fucking goes like Will Ospreay. This is one of the best promos he's ever cut. He said if Paige thinks he's found it smile, that it was mean cowboy shit to him. He understands this is about redemption for Paige, but it ain't about your redemption. It's about my ascension or whatever. And then, I think it was like when Lloyd Banks used to be spitting those punchlines, the whole unit going, "Ooh, ooh." That's kind of what the feeling was around this. I love this. I thought it was interesting that they leaned into the, hey, bro, when you lost the belt, your whole world fell apart. It's like, it's like they're playing on the Punk stuff a little bit. They've kept these two kind of apart, seemingly strategically. I don't know. I thought this was really good. Hangman will probably have something to come back, to him with that'll probably be pretty epic as well.
This was fucking awesome. And because Hangman did his thing in his way of acknowledging, because he so rarely ever cuts live show promos, right? It's always backstage with Renee or some pre-tape shit. But he comes out and is like, all right, because because I don't do this, like, I guess I got to do my quarterly thing where I have to sell you on where my character is. I have to, if you haven't paid attention, this is where I am now. So he does it. It is really good. And Ospreay comes out and is like, you've been quiet. He's basically like, you've been quiet quitting for like 2 years. That's basically what he said. like I think
kind of like a remix of the Swerve promo to him in a way.
the reason why I say it that way is because yes, this is his own version. And the reason why I say it that way is because like when he throws in a line about like you smiled, and it's like he's basically without saying it like you lost your smile for 2 years. That's basically what he's saying. I was like, ooh, that's tough. That's really, really, really fucking tough. Like this man has been a moody prick for 2 years. And then like now the part where he goes on to talk about like I've been doing all of the, you know, the fan stuff, or fan service stuff, and being a nice guy or whatever else. I'm like, I don't care, but that's work shoot stuff for you, whatever. So people more oohed and awed when he started saying that. But for me, it's like this is a filthy read on what the character's been. Like for him to go on and talk about like, yeah, you know, I went through all this stuff. I've been looking for vengeance and hurting people, and like ultimately it's left me empty. Is like, yeah, that's how revenge works. Yeah, that's kind of how it works for everyone. No one never ever feels good after getting, you know, vengeance. Like, sorry, you know, whatever. But Ospreay reading for filth, I was like, this is really good. Now, if I were them, I would probably have them go face to face again, or whatever else. But yeah, I thought this was good enough to sell me on the match. I mean, obviously I didn't just be sold on the match, but for people that need a story is like, or tension between those two is like, besides the obvious of they both want belts, like their characters are at odds. Like they both want the same things and they've gone about it totally different ways. So yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought it was one of the best like things they've done in a while. And like the thing about it is like every time you have Ospreay in there with one of the guys that are the Cornerstone guys or the main event guys, he does this, and then people go and just they have the you know the memory of earthworms, and then they move on and be like he doesn't have this. You know, he's not this character or has a connection. It's like, okay, well, he did this with Omega. He's done this with Swerve. He's done this with Danielson. And he's done this with MJF. Now he's doing it with Hangman. How many people does he have to do this with in his going into year 2 with his company before you realize this guy is a program guy? Also, I'm sorry, I also did it with Fletcher too. Like, how many times you got to do this? Like, is it just because they don't do enough promos with AEW? It's not every single fucking week that is not drilled into your skull, into your, you know, into your frontal lobe. I don't know if your frontal lobe is what holds memory. I don't know, but like, does it go into your brain and you just forget it? But yeah, he does this, and Swerve does this, and Hangman does this, and MJF when he's with someone that makes him not be shitty, he does this as well. I think right now, honestly, like Swerve, Hangman, and Page, like they are the 3 stimulus checks. Like you put them in, you get put in the program with them, they're going to help make you, or they're going to make whatever you do. They're going to give people a chance to care about you. If you can't make it work with them, you grab a tag rope until your contract runs out. It's kind of where we are right now at this point.
And it's interesting because
they are the doctors.
Like they ended up getting interrupted by Don Callis, and they set up a can they get a long tag match against Takeshita and Josh Alexander next week. So that's going to be fucking amazing. I'd imagine. Don Callis family, they're loaded. Like I'm not hearing this Dangerous Alliance shit. Like no, like this shit. These are the new niggas, bro. This is the new them Paul Heyman Dangerous Alliance shit. Like it's no, bro.
Vice, Takeshita.
This is the heel working unit of units.
Yeah, it's Fletcher, Takeshita, and Roppongi Vice. Like, nah, man, this is a really good fucking stable. And Mark Davis is somewhere.
It did like
and Archer is somewhere.
Like, and Brian Cage.
Is somewhere injured. What? Like, we get it. You hate Don Callis. That's the fucking point.
Bro, this is so awesome.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm not. Were they saying a Dangerous Alliance is a compliment?
No, because people just hold these old groups up or whatever. Like, it's like, nah, bro. I'm like, No, man. Like this is like where it's at.
Because I mean, people like Dangerous Alliance, but I thought they were saying is like some person doesn't really know that they were actually like good back then. But like I was like, it's like if you are like trying to insult them, the answer would be like Paul Jones' Army. They sucked. Like, you know, remember The Rock, their promo was like, The Rock's a lot of things, but suck isn't one of them. Like,
yeah,
the Don Callis family is a lot of things, but suck ain't one of them.
Yeah. We had Harley Cameron and Anna Jay backstage, and my God, they basically had a very pun-laced promo that was hilarious. That led to the four-way with Tony Storm, Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford, and Anna Jay. This was a nice little match.
Yeah, the match is fine. Good even. The backstage promo.
Megan Bain came out.
Right. The backstage promo with Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. Do you know how cringe you have to be? And I don't, you know, Rich, I is it often I use that word?
No.
Right. I'm not Joe Lanza. Right. I'm not some up north person. Right. I'm not JD from right. Like JD from
I think that's like his about. I think like, James is about as diametrically opposed to JD from New York. If there was like a big chart somewhere or whatever, it would be like very far, like, you know, on the scale away.
Thank you. If Anna Jay found a way to, with her acting and her delivery of these words, to make Harley Cameron not endearing. You know, that's really hard. Like when she kept saying like, you know, she kept talking about her fat ass, and I'm like, that shirt sucked back then. We were past it. Memory hole it, move the fuck on. Just don't bring it back up. Leave it in 2023 or 22, wherever when it was, and move on. And I just, it was bad, man. It was bad. And I was like, okay, so Harley Cameron is, that's her job, is to get her over his personality. I was like, well, best of luck.
There was a Harley Cameron and Megan Bain match from Collision a couple weeks ago I saw that was like way better than it had any right to be. It was like, like, and then they're doing a little mini program which kind of played out during this match.
Yes.
So
Harley Cameron has taken Riho's pipe that was outsourced to Willow Nightingale once upon a time, and is Harley Cameron's now. Like, you know how they do the lineal champions?
Yeah.
We need to do lineal pipe holders from Riho, like, because Rio's gone. Like, so Rio first brought the pipe to AEW.
She originated the pipe. Yes.
In the women's division. And then Willow uses
They have to sign out the pipe and return the pipe after to like the holding area.
And
for
now
Riho.
Harley Cameron has it. So we'll see who has it next from there. And then eventually whenever Riho comes back, she can take the pipe from whoever has it last. We can almost use it almost like the DDT Iron Man Championship.
And
Harley Cameron is now the one who lays the pipe. Thank you, Black Saber. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Hey, man, thanks for wearing that shirt, man.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
What up?
The thank you for the Harley Cameron lays the pipe. No, I was being sarcastic with that. Thank you. No problem.
I don't care about this MJF stuff, but he beat down Top Flight to kind of show that he hurt somebody. He came out wearing a wife beater, and Top Flight got like no pop when they came out. They wanted somebody to step up to Hurt Syndicate, and it's just like it's so damning watching the Hurt Syndicate with these belts and do nothing. While the Young Bucks are going fucking crazy every week, and then it's like,
Rich,
All right.
They brought out Andretti and Leo Rush to sit at the ringside while Hurt Syndicate was out there. Then out comes Top Flight, and then not buried, but talk shit about how they're not men of action. They're just sitting on the ringside. They're actually taking the challenge of facing the tag team champions. And then out comes MJF, and he beats up the two people that are trying to get tag shots by themselves, and then leaves Dante bleeding. It was one of the most pathetic blade jobs I've ever seen. That man bled two drops of blood from his forehead. And then MJF had to try to make do with it and rub it on his chest on his wife beater because he wore a white shirt to get blood. But this man, nicked himself as if he was shaving on his forehead. So yeah, man, it was just. And another part about it is you can't sell me on 1 week. MJF is scared to death of getting beaten to death by Bobby Lashley. And then all of a sudden, because he oils up his fucking biceps, that he's all of a sudden this fucking killer now. Right. And he actually does hurt people. It's like, I've seen him wrestle since 2019 on a consistent basis. There's nothing about MJF in the way he wrestles that gives you danger or anything to be fear of. Stop it. He's not Gunther. He's not Shuri. He's not Shibata.
You're not getting in the ring with MJF and it's like he's about to whoop your ass. That's not the vibe.
No one is ever going to be chanting, Max is gonna kill you. Max, no. He's not that kind of wrestler. There's no knock against him. Nick Jackson, that kind of wrestler. Kenny Omega's not that kind of wrestler. Okada's not that kind of wrestler. Will Ospreay's not that kind of wrestler. You know what I'm saying? You know my point. That's not an indictment. That doesn't mean you're not an important character in this company. That you don't draw these kinds of that's not your character. That's not what his character is. And him beating up Dante Martin and Darius Martin isn't gonna change anyone's fucking mind.
Or it's like expecting $1 million man to get his hands dirty or something. It's like, why is MJF getting his hands dirty? It's more in line with MJF to pay someone to do that shit and be like, look, man, Bobby, I know you want me to hurt people. That's just not how I roll.
I think that's the point of I think that's the point of the storyline. But ultimately, he's going to run afoul of Bobby Lashley. And no one's going to fucking buy that he can stand toe-to-toe with Bobby Lashley. And it also doesn't help that a week ago, you had him cower in the corner, fear for fucking life. Bobby Lashley going to tear him limb for limb as if he's one versus a gorilla. He's just black. He's not a gorilla. So, the only reason to do this is the crowd's invested in getting the thumbs up from Bobby Lashley. But the problem is, I don't see a payoff that's going to be worth this once they all finally get together. Do you?
I mean, when MJF gives Lashley a yarmulke or something, it'll be worth it when he puts that shit on. I kid. No.
So, Rich, MSG, the Knicks, I think out of any other fan base, I think they treat their legends, they treat their former stars well, right? You see Latrell Sprewell, he is a Knicks legend. You see...
What's up, Oakley?
Oakley was there this week.
Oh, bro, I would say he ain't banned from the building?
Not no more. Or whatever the problem was back then, I think they fixed it. But he was there. I seen him recently, or this week. Patrick Ewing, you see him at all the games now, legend. John Starks at all the games, you see him. And then you see amongst them, you see Stephon Marbury. And I'm like,
Yeah. Starberry.
That's the difference between a legend and a star. Like Melo's another one that's a Knicks legend. Mark Stoudemire, Knicks legend. Starberry, he's a Knicks star. One a legend, right? So you see Amari yesterday. And I forgot who he was with. I think he was next to Patrick. I think he was next to Ewing. Can't remember. He was next to another legend. And he didn't have a yarmulke on, but he had some hat on, and I was like, that's a religious hat. That might be a rabbi's hat. And like you mentioned Lashley with a yarmulke on. I don't want the yarmulke. I want the shit that Amari had on his head. I want that on. I want him to get him like there's levels to the Judaism hats, right?
Yeah.
I want the boss nigga hat. I want him. I want MJF to forget the yarmulke. I want MJF to bestow upon Bobby Lashley bald head, that milk dud, the boss nigga Jewish hat. That's what I want.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that shit was fur or not, Rich. That's how boss's hat was. I don't even know. I don't know what the fuck that was. But I saw this shit on Mario, like, what the fuck is this? I'm gonna have to go on Twitter and find this hat and send it to you. You can get an understanding of how fucking funny this would be on Bobby Lashley's head, bro. I got to see it. Hold on. Let me find it.
As I mentioned earlier, sensational 6-man match with Swerve, Mark Briscoe, Speedball versus Ricochet and the Young Bucks. If you haven't seen this match, go out of your way to see it. It is out of this world. This ends with Matt Jackson getting the roll up on Swerve, beats him clean, puts more heat on what they have going on. Young Bucks fresh back, kind of would be ill-advised, I would say, to beat them so soon. But Ricochet is the latest wrestler to be a trios with the Young Bucks, and it just be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
There's like 6 or 7 different teams like this. So, you just think like these guys were thinking about hanging it up. I'm glad they didn't. Speedball, fucking incredible. Swerve looked like he's the biggest man in this match. All the power stuff, all the cranking up, that sequence where they hit the Canadian Destroyer. He stands up, says, fuck that, and then gives them the house call. And the crowd, they did it again, James. They bust the crowd open again, James.
Rich. Now, I know you said that he gave him the house call after he fucked up, but he did not connect. He missed. He airballed that shot. But it's okay. It's okay.
I didn't see. I think I was caught up in the atmosphere.
Rich, I saw it. I laughed because like at the start of the match, Swerve was throwing these Undertaker-ish strikes where like he's throwing these strikes. No, not those strikes, but the overhand, like the actual punch. Like remember, okay, so you know that clip that goes around when people like want to shit on something as far as what's going on in WWE, and they bring out the time they brought out basically people that are supposed to be like Al-Qaeda to fight Undertaker, and Undertaker just striking them niggas down. He was throwing those punches. Yeah. He was throwing those punches, gotcha. And then there was one spot where, and this happens at some Undertaker match where like people start bumping early, and like one of them strikes don't connect, and like he airballed a punch, and then like he got to get close to throw another one. Like Swerve was throwing throwing like 5 punches in a row, and then on the fourth one, like one of them guys like went to bump or falling on their feet, and then Swerve airballed one of them punches. I was laughing, and Swerve was like, "That's how you get for throwing them Undertaker punches." And then later in the match, he ended up airballing the house call. I was like, look, this match awesome, but Swerve fucked up twice.
You do what you want when you pop it.
Yeah, look, it don't matter. The match, there are botches in matches that happen all the time, and it still doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the quality of the match. Like I'm not like it's not it wasn't like a situation where it's like, oh, this completely derailed the match or anything like that. This is one of the things where I just noticed, like, it didn't go perfect. Sometimes shit don't go perfect. Oh yeah, Rich, check your DM. I sent you the Amari picture.
Let's see.
I need you to see this boss nigga hat. I need you to see this.
Hold on. Oh my.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, bro.
Bro, that looked like something they might wear in Russia.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Like, that's
What else do we have on the show? We had Kevin Knight and Kazuchika Okada. They attacked Kevin Knight before the match to kind of give him a little bit of buffering. I thought there was a chance that they would lose. Yeah, I thought there was a chance they were going to have him win. That would have been like, look how fucking tough he is. He earned an Intercontinental title match or whatever at the pay-per-view. They didn't go that way.
How many how many times has has Okada been pinned? Danielson beat him, and who else?
I think that's it.
There might be one person else we're forgetting. Might be.
Yeah, because he won his block in the C2.
But he going defeated in the block, though. I don't remember.
I think he did. Okay. Did Kyle Fletcher beat him? No, I don't think so. Yeah, Kyle Fletcher did beat him.
Okay.
But yeah, Okada and Kevin Knight, another good showcase for Kevin Knight here. I thought this was interesting because I thought when this match happened, I started thinking about, I was like, man, who kind of feels like they have more something going on right now? And I was like, it feels like Kevin Knight out of these two, but Kevin's been, consistently he was in Owen Hart tournament, a couple of those, tag matches, 8-man matches, stuff like that. And he did something that I've never seen done, like Okada's 360 clothesline, which is, facsimiles as a Rainmaker sometimes. Yeah. This nigga countered this by jumping over the fuck
over it. Yes. He jumped smooth the fuck over it. Yes.
Bro, I tweeted, I was like, do y'all realize Kevin Knight jumped over a Rainmaker? That shit got 1,000 likes on that shit.
That's funny. Because I didn't watch the show until today. So I was spoiling all of it still. So yeah, that shit was great. That shit was great.
Bro, I saw that shit and I was like, I've never thought to someone to counter I was like, that's the best Rainmaker counter I've seen since Kenny Omega fell to his knees at Dominion 2017.
Right. And the Kenny Omega one is technically not even a counter. That's just a awesome moment thing. That's not he didn't Jay White and be like, I'm gonna collapse so I don't have to hit him, and I just lay down and I look at the camera and I laugh and I got him. No. That man was exhausted from getting from the all-time battle that was happening. That wasn't no counter. That was just a moment in time. That shit, he said, yeah, I'm just jumping over that shit. Forget the counter V triggers, forget the Osprey, flip around into the fucking power bomb position shit that he does. Forget to turn the shit into a Spanish fly. None of that. Nah, we just jumping over this nigga shit. That was nuts.
That's crazy.
He jumped over that and then he turned into a Pele kick. I think he landed and hit a Pele kick.
Something
I was
like that,
jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Jumping out the gym.
I think they've done a fantastic job with Bayley and integrating Bayley and Kevin Knight. And that also has to do with the Young Bucks as far as all these party matches. But thank God the party matches are back in AEW. They were desperate.
Took them forever.
Beginning of last year when it was so much heavy on the singles action is nah, man, we can get people together and share these universes, share these spaces of good guys versus bad guys. It was cool seeing Sting and Darby tagging with CM Punk. It was cool seeing Sting and Darby tag with Kingston and Moxley when they were doing that. Put the bad guys on one side, put the evil guys on the other side. I'm sorry, the good guys on one side, the evil guys on the other side. They all have commonality in that they think the good guys think those guys are assholes, and all the assholes get along because they're all assholes, and let them all fight. And hell, let the assholes be assholes. The Young Bucks, shit they were doing to Ricochet, where they were basically yeah, we're in together, and all of a sudden the last thing, nah, you on your own. That shit was awesome too. That shit was funny as well. Ricochet might be the best shithead heel in wrestling right now.
Bro. Other guy. I think he needs to win the AEW championship at some point.
I thought you were gonna say something else.
I thought
you were gonna say he should win best gimmick. Ricochet. Wrestling Observer newsletter 2025 best gimmick Ricochet bald. Yes, that's
run it up.
Bald. Run it up. He's been fucking great. He's been fucking great.
You tell me who's been better, Ricochet or John Moxley?
Oh shit, not even close. You kidding me? Ricochet had Moxley had a match as good as that Swerve match in Atlanta, and shit, I don't know when.
Then they had Samoa and Claudio. They had Samoa and Claudio Castagnoli in the main event. I kind of like zoned out.
It was
during
okay.
This.
It was a TV match. And by TV match, it was like a WWE TV match.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It's okay. It's okay.
So it's just baseline there. So Cena Norton. Speaking of bad WWE matches, I did not watch this until minutes before One Nation Radio because James recommended we should probably talk about it.
We got to. We had to. I watched all of Backlash. Now, when I put on Backlash, the show time said 2.5 hours. Because like on the Peacock feed for some reason, like they didn't even have the video packages. So it was literally not even watch video. It was literally I treat that shit like an old G1 binge watch. Bell rings, bell rings, bell rings. Right? Bro, I started at 9. I got to the main event at 10. Like they had an hour in the 2.5 hour show with 5 matches.
Like an hour and 10 minutes or some shit.
Yeah, that's how much bullshit they had or in the match or on the show to where I could literally just skip through all this stuff and get through and cut out an hour of it. Yeah, man. So I thought the opener was really good. The finish with, Solo Sikoa out there with your boy Jeff Cobb, and Jeff Cobb now being another fucking Pacific Islander, and now they're not even doing like Samoans and Tongans. Now they bringing in niggas from Guam. I'm like, all right, how far are we gonna stretch this?
Open it up.
When are we gonna start adding in Hawaiians? What are we doing?
Look out.
So whatever.
Eventually, it's gonna stretch all the way over there.
So whatever.
Pretty soon, you will be in the bloodline. Like,
I do not think I will be in the bloodline, brother. But yeah. So then, Lyra Valkyrie versus Becky Lynch. That match was weird because she's still off. She's not on her shit right now. But I still will say the finishing stretch of this match is still very good. Like the people that are like the rating on that thing, I disagree with. I think it's like a 3.25 star match, but like because the match, a lot of the work was sloppy. But I mean, people had that ratings at like on cage matches like damn near 4 stars. I can't. No, absolutely not. But I thought the match ended up good by the end, or better than good by the end. The Dominic Mysterio and Penta match, like a 2.5 star special. Goofy run-in situation. You don't know if Finn Balor was actually trying to help Dominic or not, but I guess they're converging Gable with whatever the name of that faction is with Dominic and Liv and Finn Balor. I forgot already. They're putting. It seems like they're putting them together because they're about to like have a Lucha Bros match, which thank God. Gunther versus McIntyre. I'm sorry, not McIntyre. McAfee. Rich.
I wish.
Why is Pat McAfee having better match with Gunther than Jey Uso?
Serious?
Yes. It was a better match. It was a better story. It was more entertaining. Pat McAfee did more shit than Jey Uso did. And I'm not saying that like as far as like move set or whatever. I'm saying like they actually told a story that was compelling to people, and the crowd was living and dying by, and the crowd was loud throughout the entire match, as opposed to what happened in the opener of WrestleMania. So there's that. And it's like if you want to see Pat McAfee, if you want to see Pat McAfee, this was a Young Lions match. Like he took his best shot, or Gunther took Pat McAfee's best shots, and then he whooped his ass, put him in the Boston Crab. Michael Cole got up from ringside to try to help out and make a play for McAfee a couple times. Didn't work. Cole got drug into the ring for the fuckery. and then like Gunther sold for him a little bit, and then cut the shit off, and then like put him in chokes, and like he passed out. But the story was Gunther was pissed because commentary was talking about how the man tapped out to Jey Uso, so he then proceeded to want to whoop on the commentary team, and then ultimately McAfee gets put in there, and then he didn't tap out, he just passed out. So like Gunther like gave him some type of show of respect of like, well, all right, you ain't exactly a pussy, and he walked off. So like, yeah, I'd rather see Pat McAfee with a fucking belt than Jey Uso, because he had a better match. Anyway, then we get to the main event.
What a sick, sad world.
Right. Now we get to the main event. Let's go, Rich.
Brother. Randy Orton he's been resenting something, James. He heard us. He clearly listened to One Nation Radio. He heard the WrestleMania review. We talked about how long Travis Scott took to get to the ring. He has heard us talk about how long Roman Reigns takes to get to the ring. He was like, "Hey, don't forget me. One of the original OGs of just taking my sweet ass time." So this is Randy Orton. This is
St. Louis.
This is Randy Orton, year 23 in his town. Babyface going for the belt. How many times has this probably ever happened to him? I don't know.
I can tell you the last time.
What?
Jinder Mahal in 2017.
Okay, he's challenging for the belt.
No.
They did do
Remember,
that.
he lost the belt. Orton was a champion. He lost it to Jinder, and then he had a rematch or two with him after that. I think the rematches were in St. Louis, or one of the rematches were in St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, like, this is a rare occurrence. This is a wrestler in his hometown. So, like, this nigga is soaking this shit in, like, every second of it.
This might be my last time until 5 years from now when I'm still here.
Yep. Walking to the ring, posing, and then they're milking even more because after the fucking music stops, he sits there. So they're just making you wait until Cena comes out. Now, you know, James, why the reason I watch the entrances in WWE?
I don't know
that's
why.
That's what they fucking care about in WWE. They don't care about the fucking wrestling. Like, they care about the entrances. You can learn a lot from the body language and shit. So, like, they fucking pause the shit for Cena for like a minute before they hit his music, it feels like.
Okay.
Comes out. Cena just comes out. Bro, this nigga John Cena is fucking awful. Like, I'm just saying right now, like, this turn, ass, trash, complete flop. Why? It's because he's not playing it straight. He's clearly a fucking gimmick, like
right.
A cartoon gimmick.
He knows he has no business with this belt, and he knows that y'all see through him, and so he always winking and nodding and laughing at shit. Like, he's breaking character during the match while it's happening. Like, he's such a ham.
Horrible.
This
is horrible. It's like, bro,
as
it's
a person that's trying to, if you're trying to watch a John Cena Hill John Cena match 2025 at face value.
You cannot earnestly engage with this.
These are awful matches. If you're watching from the perspective of this guy recognizes that this is nonsense he's doing, he's a fucking old man wrestling in jean shorts or whatever else, he realized how ridiculous all this is. He's laughing at himself at points. This is fucking hilarious. These matches are bad and entertaining at the same time for those exact reasons I explained to you.
It's like whose nostalgia is this? They're not even doing that. They turned him heel or whatever.
Right.
Like, so it's like
versus Orton of all people.
If you are 40 years old, like, and you're saying like you are engaging with this on his face, I do not respect you. Like, I do not respect what you think about pro wrestling. Like, if you're coming out here saying this is good work, like, no, this is awful. Not. Like, this nigga is like he started with the eye pokes again, 3 ref bumps. Like, he can barely take a bump still.
Cena, like,
they
the
try.
Funny part about it is, like, you talk about like engaging in real time is like, what's to engage? Like, John Cena has, like, since going to Hollywood, has lost muscle mass, I'm not saying anything bad because like he's still like he's more shredded, he's more lean than he's ever been compared to like his prime in WWE, but like he's lost a bunch of muscle mass and like he's not tanning anymore. And seemingly the muscle mass and the tan that he lost has gone somehow through osmosis to Randy Orton, who used to be listed at 240, 6'4", 245. He looks like he's 6'4", 260 now, and he's larger than he's larger than he's ever been.
He looks like he's 280.
He looks like. For those, I know it's a podcast. Those watching on the stream, I am holding next to me a Hall's cough drops that are honey. So the packaging is like a honeyish orange, golden color. Randy Orton is the color of this fucking bag. Rich is wearing a Kabashi cream orange hat right now. Randy Orton is darker than the fucking Tempe Bucks old 70s, 80s, early 90s creamsicle orange. He looks fucking ridiculous.
Bro, I remember when I knew that I could no longer like play basketball at the level that I once did, right? Where it feels like the hand-eye coordination kind of goes a little bit. If the rebounds, like they come a little too fast, you feel like you're just in the wrong position. Uh-huh. That's how John Cena wrestles. Like he does not have like the hand-eye coordination to anticipate the pro wrestling sensibilities, the sense of like understanding how he's kind of supposed to be in the ring. It's all a fucking work. And like, I know you're like, yeah, it's a work. No, but what he's doing is just all these like old man shortcut tricks that
it's awesome.
I remember saying like CM Punk was doing this in AEW, but to a far, I think Punk was a lot more,
it was at a
higher level and like kind of more engaging physically a little bit more. Right. But Cena, these matches are non-physical. These matches are very old man matches. Like, and there's a great comment. They said, I believe it was a review from WrestlePeers. They said he was wrestling like WCW Roddy Piper. I brought that back to the WrestleMania review we did last month, where I said John Cena's working like Hollywood Hogan or whatever, where it's just this non-contact. It's a non-contact sport essentially, and it's just like
he's bumping a lot more than Hogan.
Why are they doing this?
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. But they tried a few spots or whatever that, got a good reaction. This crowd was going fucking crazy for anything.
Eating all of it up.
They're eating all of it up. And I'm just like, this is horrible.
While I'm laughing at like calling entire sequences out like ahead of time as it's happening. I was like, bro, when I called he's going to versus AA into the table. And then the table didn't break. And then like these are like the new breakaway tables now, announced tables now. So like I think Cena went to like the near side to try to go against the leg to try to stand up because it didn't break. And then once he pushed it, it collapsed upon itself because he didn't know how the new ones break apart. So then he tells Orton, go grab a table and just do the spot again. It's like, you just went through the table, or your body hit the table, didn't break, and then you pushed it and the table broke. No, you don't need to do that spot again. It's like, that wasn't a fuck up.
You know what else was noticeable to me with this, right? So John Cena is a solo heel, right? Mm-hmm. So now that they don't have, but largely he's a heel champion. They've been doing heel champions in this company, pretty regularly the last and all the tropes. But since John Cena doesn't have an entire unit around him.
I want to hear that year you had. That since you're going to have a number of they've been doing the heel champion in WWE since when? I want to hear that. What year you got? What decade? How many decades you got on that one?
Jesus Christ. At least been a decade. There's I
was going to say since year 2000. We've been doing it for 25 years now.
Yeah. So
okay, I want clarification. All right, don't say the last year. It's been going on since Triple H in 2000, nigga.
Right, they've usually got these units around these guys, but Cena has no unit around him. So what they're doing to substitute for that is the fact that they're not just sending niggas to the ring and basically running like they're doing a walkthrough or whatever. It's not a Royal Rumble or gauntlet match. They're They're doing the multiple ref bumps. He's grabbing the belt. They're sending people that work for the company out to the ring to do the angles, to get RKO'd and all this other shit. It's like they're coming up with so much for him to not have to wrestle. It's almost it would be inspiring if it wasn't so.
It's not inspiring.
You know, not inspiring. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
No. So what, bro? When he giving out RKOs to all this and Jamie Noble and I don't know, did Jason Jordan take one? I'm not
Doubt
sure.
it.
Yeah, that's why I remember him out there, but I don't remember if he actually took one. So because he was out there doing the shit with the big spot between Priest and McIntyre, where apparently McIntyre bumped or bashed his head against the floor. But yeah, man, when R-Truth,
I refuse to believe niggas actually want to watch. Yes, R-Truth. I forgot about that whole thing.
They did all the RKOs, whatever, because basically Orton got pissed because the second ref counted too slow, whatever, right? So then he's about to punt Orton. He's punt early in the match, or twice early in the match. He goes back to punt. Out comes R-Truth, and Orton goes, no. RKO's R-Truth. R-Truth rolls out the ring. Orton faces towards him, is like, what are you doing? Why are you interfering in the match? Turns around and catches one of the shittiest belt shots you'll ever see in your life. And I don't even think he got AA'd after. I think it was a belt shot. Oh yeah, low blow belt shot, blow. And that was it. I was like, and bro, the first ref was on the floor. By the time Cena hooked that leg, I counted. It took the ref 8 seconds to get his ass into the ring, crawl, and then hit the mat the first time for the 1 count. This man, Randy Orton, lost to a low blow and a belt shot in 11 seconds. An 11-second pin. Crazy. I was like, get the fuck out of here. No, I mean, look, man. I understand.
That's how you end the John Cena Randy Orton rivalry.
I know.
Look, this fake great rivalry.
Yes, that's why I wanted to review it, because they've had so many matches over the decades, and only one of them is worth a damn. The I Quit match. The Hell in a Cell match is okay. It's not even. I don't even say it's very good. All the other matches, no. They have one match. It was an I Quit match. That's it. And that was that 09 or was that 2010? I can't remember. Either way,
09.
It's irrelevant. Those were the two guys in this company that were pushed at the top from 2008, 2007. As co-aces, or one's 1A, one's 1B, or one's the ace of one show, one's ace of the other show. For that long. And yeah, man, that's it. That's it. That's how it ends.
This is how they ended it.
And I was like, bro, we're at this point now where it's like I'm watching John Cena throw the shittiest punches, and they have to cut the camera after every single punch because they're so shitty. Like he's punching them with the top of his wrist. That's where it landed, right? Meanwhile, Orton throwing punches and strikes and kicks, they ain't got to cut a damn thing. And that's always why why when I first got back into watching wrestling, I was like, I don't get this Cena shit at all. Everything he does looks fucking shitty, and Randy Orton is the number 2 guy, but technically, he's a perfect wrestler, technically. His matches aren't perfect. He's lazy as fuck, but as a technical wrestler, you want to show someone how to throw a working punch? Randy Orton. A working kick? Randy Orton. Drop kick? Randy Orton. Run the ropes? Randy Orton. This fucking guy looks like a goof. But the goof always had better matches than him. This fucking...
What a sport.
Yes.
King of the North said, imagine Tetsuya Naito and Hiroshi Tanahashi having stinkers for this long. I said, oh, you'll get it with Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura. It's on the way. You be there. Over the next 10 years, you be there.
But they ain't gonna be the guys. The guy's Yoda Tsuji.
I think they still think the guy's Umino.
And they'll come. Look, you don't think they'll come up with new guys to supplant them and surpass them at the rate they're going?
I don't know, man, but I did not enjoy this.
If not,
I thought this was
because if not, I got to. How do you say fire the man in Japanese?
I'm sure you can. I'm sure Zach will tell us.
Okay, I can tell you. I can tell you this right now. Starlight Kid inside Kamatani. You ain't got to worry. You ain't got to worry about whether or not they're gonna bring it. They've already brought it.
I thought this thing was. I could just imagine like selling this at the top of the card, right? And you got all these other wrestlers in the company that have heated this promotion up over the past 2 years or so. Everybody thrown to the side for the John Cena nostalgia run, right? And it's like, well, why? What do you really need them for?
Imagine
you're selling out with or without them.
Imagine you Seth Rollins right now with Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker.
Imagine you Drew McIntyre.
I'm about to say that. Imagine you Drew McIntyre, right? Or you LA Knight, and y'all just had, or you Jacob Fatu, and y'all just had that cool ass opening 4-way match. All right. This is what's main eventing.
Weird dog.
Like this
shit always happens.
This is superstar inertia at its finest. This is the biggest example of superstar inertia you'll ever see.
Like y'all niggas is unneeded. Like just keep it in the stack.
There was a comment, but I think Michael Cole said this on commentary that Randy Orton says that he wants to try to wrestle another decade.
Yeah. I've heard him comment about how he wants to go to. He's like 50 years old or some shit like that, and I'm like,
why?
I mean, trying to come up with a new finish.
Look,
them
kids
got about 5'6".
Well, you got to remember, second marriage, they're not all his. But even so, them kids gonna be out the house by then.
Yeah.
You already were.
Maybe he don't want to go home. We've seen this before.
All right,
look,
now it's time to move on.
Yes, King of the North. I say give him another world title reign or 3. Yes, let's give Road Dogg full control. Randy Orton, let's put him back on top.
That was another subplot about this match. It was like, Cena got to 17. If Orton wins, it's 15.
Mm-hmm.
They dropped that on commentary, and I was like, first off, we know good and damn well he's not winning here. But 2, it's like, he gonna wrestle another decade? Nah. There's no way that Randy Orton's gonna be wrestling another decade and then like not find a way to get himself hot again to get the title. Remember what happened in 2020? When he started cutting promos about Edge to Beth Phoenix? He got himself hot again and they had to put the belt on him. Or not had to, but they put the belt on him. It's gonna happen again. Triple H wants to be the person. Triple H wants to finally put the belt on him himself, as opposed to it was always Vince, and now it's actually him putting his own guy over. Oh God, that's gonna happen.
He's absolutely gonna like backdoor his way into like that second world title.
It's gonna be Cody gonna get that belt back, and then it's gonna be time for WrestleMania 43, and Randy's gonna win the 2026 Royal Rumble or some shit like that. Watch.
It's gonna be disgusting. Be there.
A Randy Orton Cody feud is going to happen. It's going to happen.
No, everything just moves at a glacial pace, so it's just like, so quickly, I did watch a Stardom show earlier this week. I don't have it queued. Hold on,
because I didn't watch the show yet. So this is the first time in Stardom history for our One Inch Radio where I tell you to hit the music.
Shit. Oh, here we go.
All right, Rich, hit the music.
Alrighty, Stardom, Korakuen Hall. So I saw everything but 2 matches on this, which was, I didn't see the semi-main, which was a CMLL match. Luvia defeated May Sierra in 9 minutes, and then there was a 6-woman tag. Haruka and Neo Genesis took on Hate of Konami, Rina, and Ruaka. I did not see those 2 matches, but so I wanted to watch a match or in a show from Stardom where it was like, okay, it's not the biggest show of the year. It's not, a huge show. This is just a Korakuen Hall show, whatever. Kind of like what it used to be in the old days or whatever of Stardom. I got to see a couple new wrestlers like step in that kind of like impressed me and was like, oh, okay, I think I need to add you into learning what your story is and seeing where you're headed. I felt like the main event was fucking awesome, and also the Shuri match was fucking awesome. I'll start with those two. So Saya Kamatani comes out in Korakuen Hall. She's facing a woman named Sayaka Karara. They play the video where they pretty much show Kamatani retiring Tam. Yeah. And they show like Sayaka basically winning the Cinderella in the shadows of all this. And then immediately I'm like, oh my God, Saya Kamatani is wrestling like a version of herself, like from years
2021.
Yep.
Okay.
So a lot of this kind of mirrors the Shuri match from earlier, but it was kind of a different level, a lot more stunting from Saya, obviously. Her whole entrance is like when she comes out, Saya Kamatani's shit might as well say I am Aura, like in it. That's like her entire vibe now. And it's like she knows how to do she's basically doing all the shit where it's like she has all this swag and everything. It's like she's learned to play the role perfectly, but it's like, I know that ain't the real you.
Right.
I know that ain't the real
That's
you.
That's funny, because second the bell rings, then she starts being a fucking dork, or whenever she has to talk, then she's a fucking dork or a twerp. It's funny.
Right. It's like, nah, I know the real you.
Right.
But whatever, I'll let it ride. I thought this was really good. I thought that Sayaka had so much like
how many spears did she hit?
She hit one big one for sure. I know that.
Okay.
She came out and pardon me on the moves, but like they did, like Saya did, dives out the ring, drop to hold on chair, all that stuff. But they went 22 minutes, and I think that they it was a lot of fighting underneath for Sayaka and really just trying to stand in there. And she looked so kind of primitive in like she's like in her
Genesis third year.
Right. She's like in her Genesis and she's facing somebody like that's at the peak of their powers almost, right?
Someone that's
so it's like so like Saya Kamatani is like I think this was a real big test for her because like now Saya's like gotta start not passing it down per se, but it's like, all right, all these people are like you're gonna be picking people out to work with now. So I thought it was interesting from that aspect. The Shuri match with Aya Sakura, that shit, if you want example of a babyface fighting from underneath, because it was like Shuri was slapping her in the beginning of the match and had her like pinned down with like slapping her, was like daring her like fight me, like fight back, like essentially. And eventually she started doing it, and then she started catching Shuri where Shuri just kind of wasn't expecting it, and then after a while Shuri was like, okay, now we doing it essentially. I would probably give this one 4 stars. I saw Shuri come out and I was like, finally a real demon has emerged back in the singles with Shuri, so I'm locked in. Aya Sakura was awesome in this match, like firing up. She was from underneath.
So I had forgot that that Sayaka and Aya Sakura were like in the same class. So they're both in year 2. They're both in the beginning of year 2.
Yeah.
So I always gravitated to Aya more because like I thought like when I first saw her I was like, oh, she's gonna be in God's Eye. Like she's gonna be, I thought she's gonna be like kind of in a role similar to like what Tomoka is doing, or maybe a rung below that because she's less experienced. But like I thought she's gonna be just another one of the karate girls that Shuri's gonna take under her wing. But then she ended up in Cosmic Angels. So like it's kind of like all right, well, variety. It's more of an aesthetic fit than an actual like what the philosophy of the wrestling is. So it makes sense that like that it had that match, and like Shuri, the one thing I've always liked about Shuri and why I gravitated to her like immediately when she ended up starting me on like what I already liked her when she was doing in Seedling was like when she came in, she immediately was having like segments and sections of tag matches or trios matches or quattros matches with the young wrestlers, and she was like taking such good care of them as far as like whatever you want to do, whatever you're capable of, I can do it with you better than anybody can. And like whether you have some type of high speed game to you or you're a power wrestler or whatever else, like, but I can sell you on the struggle of like, I'm a senior wrestler and I'm gonna beat the shit out of you and you got to work your ass off from underneath to fight me, and I'm gonna give you and sell for you enough to where people get behind you, and then I'll cut, and then at some point I'm gonna cut you off and win, or we'll have it, or we'll get to a draw or whatever else. But like, she just makes the whole thing so easy to follow as far as like
this was the blueprint
of what do you call it, roster positioning. Like, you know where you are whenever you face Shuri on these tags or wherever, because of like, if you are going toe to toe with her, you're a main eventer. If she gets the better of you, eventually, if you're going toe to toe for a little bit and she gets the better of you, like, okay, you're a mid carder. If she is kicking your ass in, you're a prelimmer or a young girl. And like, it's easy to tell where you were always on the pecking order when you're facing Shuri. And like, she just seems like she would be brutal with people, and also at the same time, like, you can see her also protecting people. It's weird how I'm not articulating it well, but it's like, she just seemed like such a veteran from the day one she stepped in the company, and that's why I always took to her immediately. Like, in a way that, like, it was similar to what Kagetsu. That's why, spiritually, like, she replaced Kagetsu for me. Once Kagetsu retired.
Like, this was just, like, a reminder of just, like, yo, man, she's so fucking good at everything. It's like, she's, like, the perfect wrestler.
Yeah.
Bro.
I mean, you heard me say that. She's a perfect wrestler.
And, like, I think she made me feel like Aya had, like, a lot in front of her or whatever, and she's gonna like eventually like get over. I would say I would recommend that match heavily. There was a 10 women tag
Stars
between
and who else?
Stars and God's Eye. So it was Hina, Ioka. Also the fucking Sun God came out after.
Suri.
Suri came out, and also they played this video from Alice Windsor. So Alice Windsor's video plays, and then Shuri is like, they cut back to Shuri, and she has this look on her face where she just looks like befuddled and sad and kind of shocked all in one. Like, I really have to go to the United Kingdom and eat that food? Like, are you serious? Like, I have to go there to challenge her? Like, why don't she come to Nihon? Like, so, and then eventually they're going to do
real quick.
Shuri and Suri.
So Windsor, she was a TJPWer, so I guess something's changed. So, because like the guys, you kind of like, hey, I kind of only go here. I'm going to go here, like,
right?
Or at least at a certain point, it felt like that, like, so. That's changed. I didn't realize there was a change now, or apparently there is a change now. I wonder what happened. Obviously I don't ever know. I'm just curious. That's all. Or it's interesting.
One up versus CPU. They didn't make Mayu go to the UK. That's funny. Mayu wasn't getting on no fucking plane.
Mayu don't want to go.
Might lose Mayu.
Right. Mayu be like, I ain't fucking going there. Like, how many times she come to America when she had that belt?
Not many.
Exactly.
So the Stars match against God's Eye, very fun. Saki Kashima comedy. I was wondering where Saki Kashima was, and then she appeared here.
Okay.
There was a killer section between Saida and Tomoka that was like, yo, bro, can I get the singles? Can I get like a little more of that? Can I get like Saida getting a title shot this year? Can I get something?
Is it surprising to you how much faster she moves now?
Bro, she's like
she's a high speed wrestler, basically.
She's a compact power junior down there, like.
Yeah. I think what happened, while she was always very, or she, for a long time she's been very good. I think like over the last year or so there's been a change. And I think it's like, because she's left-handed, I think a lot of it came down to I think she struggled a lot with being left-handed. And I think now it's just like, all right, I got kind of this all down, everything down now. Because it's been, she debuted in 2009, 2019, beginning of 2019. I think now it's like, all right, I've done it all now. I'm good. So, or not beyond. I don't mean good. Mean like I'm good now. I mean like I got it. I got this all under control.
Kaguma was putting people in the camel clutch and giving them the bear ears herself, and I was screaming, laughing.
Did they sell any type of tension between Hannon and Hazuki?
If they did, I didn't notice it.
Okay.
So, but that match went about 11 minutes or so. Real fun match, but highlighted for sure by Saya, Ida, and Tomoka. Momo Kogo was in this match, and I was like, man, I haven't seen Momo Kogo in a while. I wonder how many years of life Momo Kogo has experienced at this point.
Is she 39 or is she 40? I can't remember.
Man, you would never know it.
She's one of the two now. She's either 39 or 40 now.
And Hannon in this match, she just looked like she's graduated now. As far as like the elevation is complete, I think, as far as like taking her from young girl status. And, you know, we saw her have the big matches last year or whatever, where it was like, all right, can she do it in the spot? And she could, she passed. But now it feels like, oh yeah, she's getting a certain amount of respect. There was a 6-woman tag between Cosmic Angels, and they beat Hate. They beat Azusa Inaba, Death, and Natsuko Tora.
Okay.
Death still pops me with everything that she does. It felt like a flashback to the Stardom of old. I thought Cosmic Angels were pretty fun in this, match as well, and nice little match here. And there was a 8-woman tag in the beginning. Vita Loca. Is it my or me? Vita Loca. Vita Loca and XSV. Yeah. So, just kind of party match. This got some time as well. These were a lot of people I did not recognize aside from Rina Yamashita and Suzu Suzuki and Waka. Even Hanako I haven't really seen too much of. But it was a nice introduction.
She's just, she's replacement.
She's tall.
She's replacement Himeka.
Where is Lady C?
I think she's injured.
Gotcha.
I think she's injured.
Yeah, I was looking around for Lady C. So either way, I still gotta watch it.
She's in the Nexus V now. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah. Like once they broke up Queen's Quest or whatever else, like she went to Nexus V.
Gotcha.
No, I'm sorry. I'm tripping. She's in God's Eye. She's in God's Eye. What am I talking about?
Oh, okay.
My God. Jesus.
But it was a nice show, and whatever the next show is, I'll check it out. So
Yeah, I gotta check it out. It just I would have been able to watch it, but I made the terrible decision of I'm going to watch playoff basketball from this weekend instead of watching all the wrestling. I know. So, and I'm watching, that shitty Mother's Day game between the Thunder and the Nuggets. The Cavs just implode. Timberwolves struggling. They struggled again the other night or last night against the Warriors without Steph, which is like, how are you struggling, and then all of a sudden you pull away at the end? I don't get it. Just beat them and be done with it. And the Knicks game, like the Celtics beat their ass. That was uncompetitive all of game 3. So I was like, great. I just shouldn't have done that. Should have just watched the wrestling instead. But you don't know until the games play out. So great. Thanks.
Did the who won the Thunder Nuggets game?
Thunder did. After Jokic hit that crazy shot over Chet, like the Thunder just went on like a 7-0 run to end of the game in the last 90 seconds.
Damn.
So 3-2 Thunder. Thunder
home court.
Thunder about to moonwalk to the title.
Whoever come out the West.
Whoever comes out the West is winning the title. There is no chance that I cannot buy the Knicks or the Pacers as NBA champions. I just can't. And of the three, I don't think there were 3 teams that can win the title. And there's only one left now. So I'm gonna say, just based off, the brain is saying Thunder.
Damn.
The brain is saying,
all right, man.
They ain't had no real heartbreak either. They just finna like the Warriors kind of like no real heartbreak. We may lose once as a collective, but after that, smooth sailing.
Well, I guess we can leave it there. Shit.
Right, so Rich,
One Nation Radio,
get ready for it. Get ready for it. You finna hear some crazy shit come after June.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they finna elevate you, boy.
Who?
They finna elevate the Canadian. They finna say some blasphemous shit, and it's gonna be annoying.
Oh Lord, I can hear it now.
I know, I can hear it too, and it's nonsense. Like look, let it simmer. Let it look. I'm not gonna be outright just dismissive of it. I'm gonna be like, it's a possibility because anything's possible. It's too early to even make these kind of statements. It's disrespectful to make. It's just disrespectful to make these kind of statements at this point. It just is.
So WNBA regular season starts this Friday. That's gonna be cool. I'll be watching some stuff on Saturday. Fever and Sky Part 1 of 5. I believe there's a Lynx Aces game, or excuse me, Lynx Things
on the opener.
Aces Liberty, yeah. The opener,
Aces Liberty, and I thought it was Sky versus Fever for night 1, opening night.
No, they're getting a doubleheader on Saturday. On ABC.
Oh, that's not the opening night. Okay.
Nah, opening night is like Wings Lynx or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, very excited about the W. Gonna be talking about a lot on my YouTube channel if you guys want to check it out. And man, I've somehow made a successful side hustle talking about the WNBA. Who knew?
So I got a question for you, right? Obviously, the way they officiate the game is so different. Is there anybody that you in the W that you consider an unethical hooper? Like, I don't feel like that kind of gets it. That feels like they don't really let that bullshit slide in the league compared to
they don't. Because like you fly for a call, they'd be like, get up.
Get your ass up.
Stand up. Yeah.
They playing FIBA rules in the W.
Yeah, they not letting nobody come out there and taint the water.
God bless them.
So
I wish they would add that to our sport.
So fire the men.
Yes.
We gonna see. A lot of people think Asia Wilson gives a pretty good whistle. Like if you breathe on her, it's a foul. But
meanwhile, how many times you saw her have shit on her nose to cover up the part where she getting hit in her face all beginning of last year?
I feel like I've seen her in a mask before.
Right.
I don't know why.
Right.
But I feel like I've seen.
Didn't her nose ring get ripped out last year?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm trying to think. Like Angel Reese not exactly getting like bailed out by the refs.
No,
so like and she does a lot of contact like in how she plays the game. So
yeah.
Trying to think. We're gonna see though. Eventually somebody's gonna come along where they're gonna be trying to trick people, and they ain't gonna have it. I'm gonna let you know right now. So what am I doing? There is a Fever game next week in Atlanta. I think I am going to try to swing that. Like I've been looking at the tickets. The tickets are, bro, it's a lot. Like let's just say, and I got to buy 2 tickets. I can't just show up by myself. So, yeah, gonna work on that for next Thursday or whatever. And then I'm out of town at the end of the month, but I won't miss really any O&R. I don't believe. If so, I'll let you guys know because I'm traveling and shit. I got to go to a funeral. So,
are you gonna wear the? Sorry, you got to go to the funeral, but I want to ask you: are you gonna wear that away game but home crowd Fever shirt to the Atlanta game?
I don't have that shirt.
What's that shirt say? I forgot what it said.
It's like every arena or every game is a home game or some shit like that.
Yeah, it has Fever logo on it. You gonna buy that and wear it to the game?
I mean, I don't know if I get it in time. It's 8 days, so I would wear it or whatever because
nasty.
It's true.
Nasty.
But I might just settle for the Iowa Caitlin Clark jersey.
This man gonna go to a W game in Atlanta. All right.
Yep. I'm doing it. Don't
W
care.
Game in Atlanta. Boy.
Don't care.
Wearing that.
Run it.
That's
Run it.
shameless.
We out
Shameless.
here. Run it. You know, Caitlin squad. You know? So yeah, that would be very fun. Hopefully, hopefully I can swing that. But if not, they're here once again. I think later, and if not, I'll go to like when the links come or something, so I can see Nafis Collier. So
Okay.
sit in that small building.
All right, man. I guess that's the end of the show, right?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Thanks for listening, y'all. If you are watching from the stream, when we put the show up, go to the show notes in the podcast. You will see a link to Rare Circle there, and you can donate there. And go to the choptees.com store for One Nation Radio. You can buy some merch there. And be sure to listen to other shows on the network besides One Nation Radio. You have Keepin It Strong Style, All Things Elite, Imps WWE Adventure, Russell Wrestling Art with Chris Things, AEW Match Guide, the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast, and Tunnel Talk. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.